restore your dead to life.
But perhaps I can give you justice in the name of our king.
Hello, and welcome back to the podcast that drinks and knows things. I am Luke, and we are here recording on September 22nd, 2022, House of the Dragon, Season 1, Episode 5, We Light the Way. I am joined in studio, Gertie of House Condescension. How are you now?
I'm doing great. How are you?
Doing pretty well. How is your drink? What do you got there?
I have a Jack. No, I lied. I have a Coke and Proper 12.
Proper 12 and Coke.
And Coke.
And Coke. Okay. Also joined by Glenn of House Dog here in studio. How are you now?
Good morning.
Good morning. And what are you drinking, my friend?
I am drinking Voodoo Ranger Juice Force IPA.
Juice Force.
Juice Force.
We now have the Space Force. Now we have the Juice
For
Force.
juice, yeah, all juice.
Joining us via the interwebsticles, Ben, Slivehouse McLean. How are you?
Hi, diddly ho, good neighbors.
And what are you drinking in your copper glass?
In my copper glass, I am drinking a Manhattan with bourbon featured from Woodhat Distillery. It's their Rubenesque.
Very nice.
Very, very tasty.
Cool.
No, mine's upstairs.
Oh.
But I am drinking Cream Punk Ale from Steampunk Brewery. I think Benji was drinking this last week at some point. Last week or the week before. I can't remember. But
Yeah.
I think 2 weeks.
He just said it wasn't cold.
he said his wasn't cold. Mine is cold. And I think it's probably better cold. If this is your first time here joining us for one of these live streams, thank you. We very much appreciate you found your way here. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. We truly appreciate it. If you are one of our returning people, thanks for putting up with us. And we appreciate you being here as well. Make sure you tell your friends and subscribe on their phones as well so they get all the notifications when we go live. Thank you everyone here in the chat for joining us. I see JD, Drawbridge, and our good buddy Mikey Two Hearted is here as well. So, yeah, I think we've got things figured out on Patreon. We've figured out what the problem was. Now we're just ready for them to reinstate it.
Right.
The things are in motion. So hopefully by the end of the month, everyone
of ocean.
Yes.
Of seasick ocean.
The motion of the lotion potion in the ocean. It's a different thing. Totally
Could
different
be
thing.
a totally big commotion.
So you can find more about our reward tiers on patreon.com/stayimaginary. Keep checking it every hour until it's back live. This episode was 59 minutes long. It aired on September 18th of 2022, directed by Claire Kleiner, and was written by Charmaine de Graaf.
There's supposed to be a tilde at the end of de Gras.
De Graaf tilde?
I didn't know how to, on the last E.
Oh,
I just didn't know how to,
de Graaf.
I really didn't know how to type it in there.
Charmaine
I didn't really
DeGrate.
care.
It's
to
easier on a
do that.
phone because you can like hold down and
Sure,
hit the button.
yeah.
That'll. Anyway, Gertrude, can you please tell us the episode description?
Sure thing. Damon visits his wife in the Vale. Viserys and Rhaenyra broker arrangements with the Valyrians, and Alicent seeks the truth about the princess.
Things sound dire here, kicking off the just about the second half of this season. So
I think we are like
It's
halfway
like-
through,
it's
which
like
is crazy.
The hump day of
yeah, it's
Oh.
Hump Day.
Maybe that could be our title.
That
We
it
humped
could
the way.
be again.
We humped the way.
We will be keeping an eye out for the chat to help us select an episode title for our podcast episode. So yeah, we'll keep an eye on that as we're going. Hey, Glenn Dog, can you tell us about the credits?
Yepers. So opening credits, Patty, Matt, and Reese get the top bills.
Still nothing different, right? I mean, I think that's one thing that I always liked about the original show was, you know, it would change depending on the areas that they'd be going to. Obviously, there isn't a ton of movement around. There's a bit, but nothing like was compared to the first show, you know, in general. So it's not surprising that it's stagnant, but it's also nice. Like, it seems like they could have developed in a way to have something that's changing. And maybe it's really subtle. I don't know.
For the
but-
people like us
I
who
think
like
it will be.
keep track of this shit.
Right, right.
Yeah.
You think it might
Because
head that way, Benj?
I think it will. I bet you come next episode, you'll see Rhaenyra's line intermixed with Helenor's. Since they're technically married, we'll see that matchup. And I think probably, I'm surprised we haven't seen it yet, but the line from Viz and Alicent going down to Aegon or whatever, I'm kind of surprised we haven't seen that. But technically, it's only following the direct line. So right now, I wouldn't be surprised if we see the Laenor's flag or whatever banner being raised.
Cool. Yeah, we'll keep an eye on that, Glenn.
Yeah.
That's your homework assignment, I guess.
I guess so. Yeah. We'll see.
Any other final thoughts on the opening credits? All right, Glendog. First scene. Take us to the Vale.
The Veil. The first collection of scenes starts with a quote-unquote bronze bitch riding through the Vale countryside on a hunting expo. She runs into her estranged husband and scorns his appearance before he pulls a fast one on her. We cut to a seasick Viserys aboard a ship set sail for Driftmark. Alicent meets Otto von Hightower before he departs King's Landing.
Glenn, I'm going to let you jump us off on your thoughts here
On
as
my
well.
first thought. So yeah, basically the first thought is about Lady Rhea Royce riding through the countryside Vale. Like I said, she meets her estranged husband who turns out to be Daemon, correct?
He's a dame. And
I think we see the piece of shittedness of Daemon. Like I've the past few episodes I've always seen this kind of like, man, he seems like a piece of shit, but he always usually would like not be or like do something kind or something like that. But this, I think, is the piece of shittedness.
kind of
That's a word.
through and through. Yeah, it seems like there's usually something cutting it to make it like, oh, but it's okay. It's just Damon being Damon. Like, it's such a
That's our
manipulative
Damon.
thing
So
of like,
yeah, we'll get into that later.
Okay.
With Dave, like, I have seen, for the first thing I ever said about him was that he was, I'm like saying stalking is what I want to, but it's not. And I want to say molding.
like
but-
grooming.
Grooming, that's the word.
Yeah.
Like the first comment I made, I was like, so here we have grooming. Cool. He's a master manipulator.
He seems so genuine, doesn't he?
He's
like,
so,
in moments,
He's
in moments.
so chaotic. He is. Never mind. I'll save that for later.
Okay, Benj.
So, okay. So, first of all, pointing out again, Matt Smith, Damon, doesn't say a fucking word the whole scene. He just acts. So, this is a proper thing of the show, showing, not telling, you know?
Mhm.
Just a perfect example of that. But I kind of wish they wouldn't have shown him picking up the rock. Because here's the thing, her falling off the horse, he made a move towards the horse, but it doesn't show him actually touching or doing anything to the horse apart from scaring it. You know, leave it open book. I mean, she does get that one last good dig in of, oh, I knew you couldn't finish, you know, just goading him. And I get it. you're trying to show, as Glenn put it, the assholeness, the piece of shittedness,
Piece of shittedness.
piece of shittedness, you know, of Damon. Then that's why they show him picking up the rock to go finish the job. I wish they wouldn't have. I wish they would have left it ambiguous too. We don't know. Did he actually kill her? Did he just make a movement and just didn't save her? Because there's a big difference between picking up the rock and just walking away. You know, hey, you fell. That's on you. You know, instead of putting the killing blow in. I don't know. I kind of wish they would have stuck with that ambiguousness.
Ambiguity, I think is the word.
Ambiguousness.
Does anybody think that,
Ambiguosity.
I mean, I'm not going to defend him because I really dislike him, but that it is a mercy killing.
I was going to point the comment from Devil's Advocate in the
Okay,
chat.
Devil's Advocate. Here we go.
I mean, living up to the name for sure.
I know, that's awesome. Like,
She clearly was broken.
I mean,
like
he
that was
steps on
laid
her
out like
arm.
Bran Stark right there.
He lightly steps on her arm at first and then kind of pushes in, and there's no movement. There's no response. Like, I don't think it was an actual mercy killing because I think he would have rather her suffer, maybe.
I don't know
The
if he
way
wanted
he
her
was
to
walking-
suffer necessarily.
The way he was walking away, like, and then when she gives that,
Job well
I don't know,
done.
like, but I do think that possibly that's what she wanted. She wanted
She
him to
calls
come
him a
back.
Craven,
'Cause
remember?
yeah.
I
He
think
also didn't want to take the chance of, you know, somebody coming along and finding her. And
I really don't think he gives
Yeah.
a shit.
I think
don't
he was
know.
just going to
Yeah.
leave her and to die. I
Yes.
mean, it's pretty wide open out there. I mean,
Yeah.
not good chances unless someone comes riding along. But even then, yeah, he's clearly this is a way to get out of the marriage, right?
I mean, that's the whole thing has just been like this cock block of he wants to do all these other
The
things.
cockage blockade.
Oh, don't you have a wife? Like, let's not forget.
Oh, that ugly piece of shit back.
That's another
over-
thing I
Are
wanted
you
to say.
kidding me?
The funniest like thing I've seen was I think the Game of Thrones or somebody came out with like a Lady Royce will be making, and they showed her picture, and they're like, somebody commented like, "Damn, if she's considered ugly, like, what do these sheep look like?
Right?
Take a run at them."
Yes.
That's great. That's pretty funny. Yeah, so for me it was like really cool the way that the whole scene opened up. Like we kind of get these cool flyovers over the Vale. Like you can tell it feels like we're back walking around with Arya and the Hound, right? Like it has those landscapes that we've seen very similar things before. It just felt like a nice resurgence of something, of
change
good
pace.
familiarity.
Yeah.
And everything that we've seen, most of what we've seen in the show has been very either dark or urban type feel. This was like the first time in a while we've had just this open,
Countryside.
plain countryside
Yeah.
thing. And it was refreshing to see that, yeah, we're not just stuck in the Red Keep and things around it. So it just felt like the show is open to getting bigger again, which I think is really cool. And the views were great, certainly. And I thought for the little bit we got of her,
She was
a
awesome.
really cool character,
She
right?
gave me what's her name at Hard Home type thing. Like she's
Carsey.
she's not necessarily as powerful, like just because of how the turmoil. What's her name?
Carsey.
Carsey was in, but it's that same like I'll be like, oh no, remember her? Like she died like with her pride. It was like I will give one last final dig. Not a problem.
Give a shit at this.
Yes.
Give a shit at you.
I got very much a Mira vibe from her, you know, like able woman can
Yeah.
handle her shit, you know, kind of thing.
Yeah.
Still feminine in her own right.
It's kind of a
you know,
shame
kinda
that
thing.
we don't get anything more. It's kind of a one and done.
Yeah, I think they probably did it on purpose just to make Demon seem worse. Of like, you know, we got very little, and we all, I don't know, raise your hand. I kind of liked her. I
Yeah,
thought
she
she
was
was pretty
cool.
cool. Like, I'd want to see more. They're doing that to show that like he's really kind of got a lot of piece of shittedness. I
Yeah.
think it's just doesn't matter how good she is. It was never going to be something okay for him.
No.
matter how she could have been phenomenal to him,
And-
and it still wasn't going to go
No.
a way that he's going to be okay with. Any other thoughts on taking out the lady of
Well-
the future heir to Runestone?
One of my favorite things that I've like seen online about this scene specifically is this argument of horse knowledge people versus book or show lovers being like, no, it's obviously because the horse smelled the dragon. It's a prey animal. It knows the dragon. Like, so that made it rear up as Daemon got closer. Then there's this, the horse knowledge people are like, he is in a dark cloak going up to its face. They do not have a direct, and all it looks like to them is like this moving hole. And that's why I did it. And there's just this big argument about like, well, was it a hole or was it the dragon? And I find it so fascinating. They're like, do you really think they got a horse expert in here to write this scene? Or do you think it was just a show lover who was like, or that was like, no, they smell like dragons. Of course it wouldn't like it. He just happened to be in a cloak. I don't really have an opinion on it. I just like the argument. I think it's really awesome.
I'm here for it.
I was
either
like,
way.
I like it.
I've literally got no horse in the race,
Hey.
but she doesn't either anymore. So,
I even got a cart now.
Whoops.
That's okay.
all right. So the next portion of this scene, we kind of go to, well, I guess,
Set sail for Driftmark.
setting sail. Right? We open it with a puking scene, a puking pastel. I think.
And then
was,
I think
was
they
ingested.
so before Daemon grabs the rock and like I guess we assume Mercy kills her. Like they cut to somebody cutting a fish. and-
Right. I was gonna bring that up too because
Oh,
it's the
sorry,
first time we've
sorry.
had like one of those cut scenes, like the poop soup loop almost thing. Like it's
Let's not forget the poop soup.
we had a bunch of those, in Game of Thrones, and like where it's like, oh, and then either it was a sword through the back of the head, or it was like you cut to a different scene where someone's cutting a
Taking a
fish
shit.
or something.
This scene specifically right here, like, why is it there? Nothing happens. Nobody speaks. He just
Besides
pukes
he
a couple
throws up.
times. That's it.
I think it's just setting the tone for he's not in good shape.
I get that, but like we're
He's
halfway
weak
through
and-
the season, and I need your time saved for I don't know what, because I don't know what's coming. But
Well,
I'm
they,
like-
they should show more scenes of
it
him
serves-
taking shits and
Puking.
puking.
Basically, it serves three purposes. It makes him look weak. It keeps you in mind of, oh, Kristen and Rhaenyra are still cuting together.
yeah,
And, oh, where the fuck are we going now? Because
Hey,
we don't know this.
anybody who wants
right
to
off
say
the bat.
somebody's weak for
Well, I guess
being
maybe-
seasick, they're wrong.
No, I
straight
know.
wrong.
Try-
I think that is important what you just said there, Benj, of I don't think most people realize that Driftmark is an island, that they would have to sail there. So I think it's the intent of showing that Corlys has his own seat on a small island that's just next to Dragonstone, basically.
Okay,
And
that's
so they're showing that, and I think Benji, you nailed it.
You
Those
have
are
to travel
the
by boat,
three.
pretty much.
Yeah, it'd be tough to walk unless your name rhymes with Cheez-Its. But most people's aren't. So
I mean,
tough.
true. Yeah.
So there you go. We kind of get that quick scene, and we kick it back to OVH and Alicent. And yeah, I think Alicent's really getting some hard truths here, right? I mean, again, OVH, for if you're new here, means Otto von Hightower. So we won't just gloss over that one and not tell you what it is. But, Alicent's dad is pretty much telling her, like, hey, she's like, oh, I regret this happening. You kind of made this happen because you chose your friend. And she's like, well, I believed her. You wanted to believe her. I mean, I think he is being completely genuine again.
I think there are no lies told, but I think as like a person who believes in their own, like they've done the right
Yeah,
thing, and
no,
whatever,
there's no lying on either
He's-
side.
he's like there's a little bit of blame put upon her that I'm like, bro, like it was deserved. Like even if how it got to you was wrong, you are so like self-serving. You got caught.
But I think
Sorry.
the most important thing is he lets her know that when this happens,
Yeah.
she's gonna have to kill you and or your children.
Right.
That's almost gonna have to happen.
Yep.
Or
Shit's
you
gonna
can
hit
just
the
keep
fan
begging to be her best friend, and hopefully that's good enough. You gotta rely on her mercy, and that's a tough one
Can
for
we
sure.
just talk about the umbrella in that scene? That dude was walking around with like a full table umbrella. Like, I'm like, man, that's service. And he just stood there in the background, and I'm like, I'm sure it's not really raining or whatever, but I'm like, can you imagine a wind gust? Like he Mary Poppins his way right out of there.
Yeah, basically, Otto von Hightower says to Alicent, this is kind of an inside joke, but he says, I love you, but I gotta go.
I need a slice to go.
I love it.
Benj, any final thoughts on Hightower here?
No,
Nope.
fine scene. Reese's acting was great. Alicent's was very, very facial. Very, very deep facial. And I can't get away from it. I don't dislike this actress at all. Just every scene she is in.
You dislike her in.
I don't dislike her. It reminds me of Daenerys's dancing eyebrows, where
I can't even do it. I wish I could.
Her facial expression just overact over everything else. Her vocals and mannerisms are fine. Just the face just overacts everything.
The body language, I guess. Is that what you're saying?
Well, good
Body language is
news.
fine.
I'm pretty
Just
sure
face.
next
I know, this
episode
is
my
the last one.
girl shows up. So
I think
I know.
you're right.
Oh,
There's
I'm
going to
so
be some
excited.
time
Yeah.
passing between this and the next episode. But before we can talk about that, we got to talk about more scenes in this episode.
Sorry, just for the chat. Sorry.
I figured a joke like that would happen with the way that conversation was
Oh.
going. And we'll leave that one there. Nice job,
Yeah,
DA.
That could be the title of the show.
Glenn, can you take us to Driftmark, please?
Driftmark. Absolutely.
Should we take the Jojen train?
the
Jojen.
Anywho, the Targaryen caravan approaches the castle at Driftmark, where the king is not really received. Alicent is interrupted in the Godswood by a club sandwich, who tells her the scoop. The king is briefed on Lady Rhea's demise before he and Corlys discuss and hash out details of a marriage proposal to unite the two houses.
So, Abby, I'm going to start with you. Did you have any thoughts on how they land? They get through the gates of high tides, right? And
Right.
they're just met by Laenor and his buddy.
Well, and two kids playing outside. Sword.
Right.
So, I mean,
No,
just-
that was Laenor and
I thought
Joffrey.
they walked down.
That was Lenora.
Loudmouth.
That's what okay. So when I first watched, I was like, oh, that's so cool. She's out there like sword fighting. And then the next time I watched, I was like, oh, I think those were just two randos. And then they walked down. But no, that makes me love it even more. That's cool. I love the fact that she's out there sword fighting. That's cool.
No, she's the one that walked down the steps.
Yeah,
What
no,
are we talking
Lenore
about
and
here?
Lenore and Joffrey are the ones sword fighting. And
Yeah, so they're not just two random kids. They're the guy
But they're
that.
boys, right?
Yes.
Okay, so
well, they're
the first
teenagers.
Okay, but they're men, is what I'm
Yes.
saying. When the first time I watched it, I must have missed it. I thought it was the girl, whatever her
Gotcha.
name is. I thought she was sword fighting. I was like, oh, that's so awesome. And then I realized I was wrong, and I was like, oh, well, still cool, whatever.
Is the daughter's name Lenora?
Yes.
So
Lenore and Lenora are brother and sister.
Can we
Same
do
Lenora
one
that Viserys was
Yes.
trying to be convinced to marry earlier.
clarifying question. So this is Driftmark
So Driftmark is the island. They are at a castle called
called
High
High
Tides.
Tide. Okay, that's what. All right. My feeling, like, obviously, it's pretty blatantly like, don't give a fuck about you. You know, that's a power move. That's awesome. And then we enter the castle, and it's my favorite castle and land of all the realms. That, like,
Yeah.
oh my god, yes.
Before we talk about
But yes,
High
that's-
Tide, did anyone else have any like shit being thrown in Viserys' face field with like
I was going to say,
yeah.
so if you take the place that they're from, Driftmark, and then add in their last name, Valerians, the acronym comes out to be DMV. And I kind of got that DMV kind of feel of, you know, when you go in the DMV, you're not received well at all. Like, you're not really received at all. You're just like, oh, you got to take a number. And there's always that asshole that just like walks in. It's like, yeah, I got to get my license, renewed. And then they're like, the ladies, the clerks or whatever, or they usually never look at the person. They're always like typing on the computer and just like, you got to take a number.
DMV.
That's how it was. You know, just imagine that Viserys was going into the DMV at that point, and you know, they're not really receiving him.
Yes. You know,
If that makes
he's
sense.
got his ticket. He's gonna be there for a while
Take a
that
ticket.
says about me, because that's where I'm trying to live.
at the DMV.
Right.
And as a correction, yeah, the chat caught me. It's Lena
Oh my god.
Valerian, not Laenora. My
Okay.
What an
I was
idiot.
That's where I was at. Because
yeah,
I know I'm
was
probably
just
wrong,
stuck
and
in my head. So, yeah, so they kind of just don't. Corlys is kind of making a statement a bit. It feels like of like he can come to me. He's already taking his ship across to come and see me. I'm tired. He can meet me here. But then we walk through Abby's favorite castle.
Oh my gosh. And you see, like, I'm sure they have a different term, but like the helmets, and I don't know if they're on like shrunken skulls or what. They are freaking outstanding. We have like the coolest throne ever. I basically love, like, if I had to pick a place to live, it'd either be north of the wall, but if I had to live south of the wall, high tide, here I come. Like, it was beautiful.
Yeah, so I think those heads, those helmets are trophies from his sea snake
Expositions.
expeditions out
Okay.
and around.
They call it like
so
They were all just so
the
similar.
Room of
I
Nine
really
or something.
the Room of 9. So it's his trophies from the 9 times he's gone on long trips.
Okay.
They didn't explain that, but that's
And
what
if he goes on another one, it'll have to change the name of the room, right?
they'll probably call it the Room of 10.
that just
is
surprises me
just a
because
guess.
making the choice they did, to me, not knowing that background knowledge, they all seemed so like coordinating of like the same metal or of the same design, at least similar features.
And here's the thing, Ab, those helmets all might be from one of his trips. So so they might all be like helmets from one area that he defeated or whatever.
Okay.
Because there's other stuff in other scenes that we've seen him in. They show like up close stuff of like a snake or like a
Right,
wooden
yeah.
this or different trinkets. And so each time we see it, we see a different trinket
Yeah.
in the room.
I
So
I did love his
they may be
knickknacks.
combined.
Great knickknacks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Benj, we get in, Corlys kneels to him, and they start talking a little bit.
So, well, as they're walking in, the king automatically starts with the smoker's cough. Just the ongoing, just constant, just not quite always there, but just there under the under the sheets. As I say that, and
Speak of the
like I
devil.
timed it almost. But Corlys keeps like first words out of his mouth. Can I get you a chair? And then he asks it again. Then he asks it a third time. And it's like, dude, motherfucker's just like, I want to get this out. I don't need a goddamn chair. Just let me speak.
Yeah, I
I
think
just
it's
thought it was funny.
I think it's
too.
just all about
I don't know what
power.
the insistency of the chair thing was.
I think it's just
What was
like
that, Glenn?
I think it's about it's like a power move, just like you need to sit while I'm higher above you talking to you or whatever. And
Yeah, I
I
think-
he as the king he wants to have a presence. So I think that's why he denies him.
He also doesn't want to show weakness, right? He's been
Right.
playing this. He knows he's in kind of dire straits right now,
fritz.
health wise. He knows what every night he's got to spend time with the maester, with the leeches, and he knows things aren't looking good for him right now. And he can't show any kind of weakness, especially with how tenuous things seem to be being talked about around him and his heir. If it's unsettled at all right now, and he perishes, as Glenn would say, then that's not something that would be good for who he picked as his heir in general. So the stronger he looks, the stronger people, especially with what he's here to do, hey,
Right.
convince him,
And I think
hey,
like,
we
to
should
Benji's
join
point,
up.
He just wants to get this out, like to take the 2-minute conversation, and then it's like, okay, good, great, grand, wonderful. I'm out of here.
I'm out of here. I think that's totally valid on all of those. And they get to a pretty significant point, right? They get to the point where any kids born between them will be born as Valyrians, keeping with Westerosi tradition, which is commendable of the king to kind of allow that, but then he also says, you really don't think we're going to end the Targaryen line on the throne just because of this, right? Like that's not going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
As soon as they take the throne, there's going to be a royal name that's Targaryen now, which it can work. It's something that absolutely happens throughout history, but at the same time, it kind of washes out if like true lineage a little. Not that really matters in the long run, but it's kind of okay. Well, what if this happens again 40 years from now? Like now you're 2 steps away from this Targaryen, like it fucking matters.
What
But
happens 300 years or 200 years from this point with
Right.
the House of Baratheon, Lannister Baratheon,
right,
Joffrey pulls that shit,
Mhm.
and
yeah,
at that
it
point,
just
nobody really questioned it.
Yeah, it just drifts further and further from the point that Viserys is trying to make. But either way, he makes a big accommodation to ensure that this happens. It feels like, and Corlys is says it's an equitable compromise.
And when he does that, though, there is a very subtle little thing from Knees. She stands beside Corlys, and as soon as he says, "When they ascend the throne, it'll be a Targaryen on the seat," she kind of looks up and just grins, like very subtle, but very kind of just like, "Yep," because she, as much as she, is a Valyrian married into it, she's a Targaryen by
Always
blood
will
and
be.
by
Yeah.
will be. And so she's like, "Yeah, no," and she's like, "Thank you for standing up and doing that, not bowing down."
I don't know if it's been covered, but in this scene, right when they start speaking, he's like, "Oh, I'm so sorry to have to tell you this, that Daemon's wife tragically has passed." Have we talked about this?
No, we glided right past.
Okay, so one of the things I noticed about that is Rhaenys is kind of like, "Oh, ye gods, they can be rough. What a tragedy. Could have happened to the best of us." Where Corlys is kind of like, "Do you really think it should have happened to the, like, you don't,
Right.
okay."
'Cause I think they point out that she's one of the best writers.
She's like highly regarded for her skills in
And
writing and hunting and everything.
It's just something that
And
I
Corlys
thought.
is the one that brings it up.
Yeah, Corlys brings it up, and I
Yep.
feel like Rhaenys is just kind of like, "Oh, could have happened." Like, she kind of skirts over it, like,
shit happens.
where is she sitting? Like, is she on Daemon's side a little bit? Because I feel like she's doing it a little bit to be like, "Oh, brush by it. Let's not question this."
Like, how fortuitous. For him.
It just was something that I don't know. I don't know what her stance is on Daemon, or it was kind of a weird, like, I don't, whatever. I was like, that kind of struck me as odd.
It's a
Yeah, I
pretty
agree.
good.
And
Go
it's
ahead,
like,
Mitch.
I was saying it's kind of funny that Corlys is the one that brings up it's odd because she was such a good writer. He's kind of sewing the things into Viserys' mind about Daemon, like making
Right.
kind of point out. And it's like, but here's the thing: those two have been working together for the last 3 years, 4 years, or well, however long it's been since Stepstone side, but they work together closely on that. And you would think they're still friends or they're still allies. So why is he chucking them under the bus here? But so it's like just interesting to see that
Well,
dynamic.
don't you
at play.
think with his questions later on about naming the children that he already had this exact conversation going down in his mind? Like, he knew what they were coming for. He knew what questions he was going to ask. And now it doesn't help his seat to have Daemon around. Like, I'm ready for
Yeah.
you to go.
Yeah,
'Cause
absolutely.
Yeah.
Now, if my kid's involved, now we have what we want. So let's scoot this guy out of the way. And here we go. He killed his wife. Weird.
Yeah, no,
him.
he's. I don't think that there's any doubt in Corlys' mind. Like, I don't think he thinks Viserys is showing up to Driftmark to play cribbage for the night. I think he pretty much knows
He could
if the
be.
king
I mean,
is
he could-
making, if the king is making the trip, there's probably a
Gonna be
pretty big reason.
2 games.
It might be 2 games of cribbage. Maybe they'll go play
For
some spades.
The third?
We'll play some spades.
Spades, yeah.
Yeah,
I could see
yeah. I guess one final thought, and this the imagination realm from the chat kind of brought this up. Who's to say Rhaenyra would even follow this? Like, maybe she'll just name him Targaryen from the start. If she was queen, like it's like a kind of a pointless. It's a moot point, but it works. But Rhaenyra's gonna clearly make her own choices when it gets there. So we'll see how it all goes, I suppose. Final thoughts on Corlys and the king. The king takes his leave, and so do we.
Did we talk about
We did not.
Club Sandwich? at
Nope.
all?
No, right. So we take our leave to Club Sandwich
Club
and
Sandwich.
and Alicent Hightower.
Alicent Hightower is in the Godswood, just kind of
Moseying.
just being by herself, taking a moment by herself, and here comes Club Sandwich, just interrupt her. Like, he's definitely an odd duck, like, but I think it's like calculated because he has something that he's like, I'm not gonna come out and tell you exactly but I'm just gonna kind of form it in like I heard this weird thing or whatever where the Maesters were gave this tea to the princess. Like, I don't know if it's any significance to you or but it's like kind of information that maybe that Alicent would be interested in.
right, and he's really like playing a really coy kind
I
of card
hate
here,
people like this.
like where he's like, "Oh, I hope she's okay. I hope she's not so unwell." And then Allison's like, "Well, she was well enough to go over to Driftmark." He's like, "Oh, that's such good news.
Yeah, I was. Oh,
Oh, dear Lord.
good thing I was.
Dear
mistaken.
Seven. Thank the gods."
He's got that very Minnesotan, Wisconsin. Oh,
Oh,
don't you know,
don't
dear.
you know?
It's,
Oh,
Oh my
bless
God.
your heart.
bless your
And
heart.
I just was so worried when
Yeah.
when Malos himself came out of the
God.
woodwork. On the king's behest, don't you know? And he just brought that tea to her, and gee, Manetli, let me tell you, I was bereft.
Yes. She's like, finally, I feel like Allison, I don't know. I don't know what my feelings are on her, but she just wants people to spell it out for her. She's so sick of playing these. I mean, sick of it. She doesn't understand how to play these games because I do think deep down, at least, she started very good and like just wanted to help. And is finally like, she's no longer a sweet summer child. And we see her kind of just be like, she literally says, state your purpose.
Yeah.
Like, let's
I
just
think-
get to the fucking
Yeah,
point
she's
already.
like, I'm done with it. Like, I
think-
don't
Yeah,
I don't understand these fucking words. You're like, where are we going?
her mind's like racing definitely too because like her one ally that she thought were her dad Von Hightower, he's gone, so she has like really no friends left or people she trusts. Maybe the king, but who knows?
Yeah, I mean, this is clearly the biggest thing kind of going on in her world right now, and this is really just being like launched upon her when she kind of already made choices, right? And now she just had just a minute ago, rough conversations with her dad of like,
You wanted to believe it.
you know, maybe I should have taken my time with it or something. And then now you got this, which is like really driving home the point of like, there might be more going on that I'm potentially choosing ignorance on, and I kind of don't want to choose ignorance. And
I'm just
yeah,
highly annoyed with everybody in this episode.
everyone.
I mean, yeah.
All
Almost
right.
not everybody, but
We'll unpack that as we go.
Yep.
Almost anyway.
Allison definitely high on the annoyance list.
What about Lena?
I'm not annoyed with her. Actually, a little bit, but not really.
Not yet.
Not yet.
What was it?
What, Lenora?
Lenora?
Yeah, no, she's gone. She's off the show already. She's not around anymore.
She should have backed her horse up.
Oh man.
And Nora the Explorer.
Yeah. We won't spend too much time on it, but there was talks about Bravos and things in there that were interesting. And yeah, I've heard that there are some theories of the Red Door and Bravos with Danny. We hear about it much later on. There are interesting things out there that we're probably not going to talk about, but because it's not really that prescient to the current episode. So check those out on your own time.
Start your own show.
All right. Final thoughts on Club Sandwich and Allison. All right, Glennie,
Club Sandwich.
could you move us along here, please?
All right. So this is along Driftmark in the Driftmark coast. Rhaenyra and not Lenora, take a walk on the coast and reach an agreement of sorts. Rhaenys and Corlys converse their son's future in the kingdom. Laenor and good friend Sir Joffrey Lonmouth converse about their future relationship. Christian Cole and Rhaenyra converse about their future together.
All right, Glenn, you want to kick us off here?
Yeah, I mean, I think in Rhaenyra's eyes, like, this is the best case scenario. Okay, like, we know, like, we're not really into each other, like, as far as, like, in love or anything like that, but we do our duty and we still have our relationships that coexist.
Yeah, I mean, they're clearly kind of broaching the subject of let's just be okay with an open relationship.
Yeah.
There are many majorly positive reasons that we should just like do this thing.
Yeah, I think my point is just it's not going to be that simple.
Right.
Once we get to the end, it sure won't.
It sure won't, yeah.
God damn.
But
Way to fuck it up right from the
they're
beginning.
optimistic about taking their destiny in their own hands, right? I mean, that's kind of what I take from it. They're both choosing like, hey, we get to make the choices that we want.
Yeah.
And we can still do the things that the realm needs us to
we know
do.
This is a political.
I
like,
was
we're
very
giving up-
excited.
I mean, it's
By
a
this-
very positive
this is a
thing,
super
right?
good union. Like,
Yeah,
we
they're both
started
just
out
happy about it.
completely honest and being like, hey, we will do the things, as you were saying, that needs to be done. We'll do them well. And we won't lose ourselves in misery. Like,
What's the worst that could happen?
What's the worst, Glenn? What's the worst that could happen?
so many things.
So many things could be the worst that happens.
Did anybody else notice? I have never heard Rhaenyra talk like this before. She absolutely was using her proposal voice. Like, what does she say? She's like, now, like, this really could be. I don't know. I can't do it. But like, I have never heard her use like this. It was proposing. She was proposing this to him. Like, look, I get that I am not what you are desiring, and that's okay. Like, this is gonna be okay. And if we think this through, she's giving that like slow and chanting, like,
She knows where the conversation she's trying to get to
come
is.
to terms with this, and you're gonna agree, and it's gonna be good for both of us. Her voice right here immediately started off. I'm like, what the fuck is she doing? And I was like, oh, she's trying to make her case.
Yeah.
That's what it just was.
I'm trying to like think if it's an app comparison because I think I know what you're talking about because it might be a different tone, but like when she's talking to Damon and like High Valerian, when
Right.
especially in those scenes where it's very undertone, very subtle, very but sensual in
Right.
those conversations. This is a different tone than what you're saying is what she used
Yeah,
here because this
like,
is more like
every time.
almost game playing.
Well, yeah,
like,
absolutely. Every time we hear her talk, like, you know, she's talking to Allison, she's like, is that a command? Or to her dad, she's like, oh, well, like, maybe somebody should have told me. Or,
yeah, we've got a
fine,
lot of
I will
snark.
go.
Yeah, we've
But-
had a lot of spiteful and snarkiness, certainly.
And this here
for a
was
long time.
so, like,
Justified.
sweet. Yes, absolutely. But it was, like, purposefully.
Just schmoozing.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's a good word for it.
Okay. Yeah.
And then once they kind of broach the chicken, duck, goose situation, she goes back to like kind of more of her normal speaking rhythm and pattern. But the first like 2 lines into it, I'm like, what the hell?
She's being smarmy.
You sure
Yeah.
it wasn't a snake?
It was smarmy-ish.
Or was it a duck? A snake or a
Or
duck?
was it
They're pretty confusing
I
these
know.
days.
Damn. Not even a duck.
So yeah, they kind of work out their chosen destiny, if you will, you know, and yeah, good for them. It's gonna work out well. Just good partnership, good ideas. Then we jump back to Rainey's and Corley's, right? And Benj, I'm gonna jump over to you with this one.
Yeah, so Nia's has the right read on pretty much everything. She knows what her son is or how her son is, what his penchant is, and she's accepting of it. Corlys is not so much yet. I don't think he's not disturbed by it. He's just in denial of it.
He's very,
He's,
yeah.
thinks
He'll
it's
grow
it's
out
a-
of it.
Yeah, it's a phase
He'll-
that he'll get
It-
out of.
it's a fad. We all went
fad.
through it.
Yeah.
We all went through it at his age, you know. But also with calling out exactly what danger her son is going to be in this position. She's like, she sees what good it is for her and her family and her direct line herself. But at the same time, she's like, this is going to get fucking bloody
Mhm.
because this is not going to go over well. It doesn't matter.
The-
And so I like that she, has the right read on it. She's willing to take the step back and accept it, but she's just like, I got to put it out there. And Corlys does the respectful thing and actually listens to her, heeds what she's saying, but they have to weigh the pros and cons of, their power and strength to the possible outcomes.
I really think that's one of Corley's strongest characteristics is he absolutely values his wife's
that.
opinion. Like it doesn't happen very much in these shows where it's truly an equal partnership. He might have the person that he has to say the final say just because he's technically the lord and like other lords would need that, but at the same time, like he completely would just let her make the calls and not just be a pushover like Tyrell or something, who we know is making the calls, but he just feels like he has to. No. He truly values her opinion, and I think that's one of the strongest things in his character. There's bad things too, but he values his partnership, his team quite a lot. So
I do feel like she is such a realist, and I don't know, every movement needs a hero. They need somebody to be like, okay, I know this is the way it was done. I know this is the way it's been forever. But at some point, you do have to break that chain. And I am hoping Rhaenyra can. Probably won't. But Rhaenys here is just like, look, the realm has already spoken. There was a vote throughout the entire realm, and they chose a lesser leader because he was male. Like, they've already done it. And I don't hate Viserys, but Rhaenys is a formidable human, and she was just looked over because of her sex. And she just isn't going to believe that this is just going to be, sunshines and rainbows after Viserys dies. She's just a realist. I love her. Everything you all just said. Like, Corlys is all right, too. His hair is awesome.
His hair is.
His hair is
His
awesome.
hair is
Which leads us to the next scene.
His hair is awesome.
Because I have a point on the next one.
Okay, and that's the one with Laenor and his buddy Joffrey.
Laenor and Joffrey.
Loudmouth.
Yep. My only point to the scene, cute, nice, and Joffrey sees the right of it. He's all on board. Great. We don't get the Shea Stadium of well, whatever. But his hair, Laenor's hair, looked like dog shit in this scene.
You think so?
Like the close up of the wig was just garbage. At least in my opinion. Like Corlys's always looks good.
What about
This
Laenora?
adult Lenora, the adult or teenage Lenor's, her hair looks great. Fucking Lenore's look like shit. I don't know why. It just maybe fell wrong that day, or it just
It
wasn't
didn't-
tucked, but it looked weird.
It didn't really blend in with the tall grass. Is that what you're saying?
Exactly. That was my only point on that scene. Cute scene in and of itself.
Yeah, I mean, they kind of get to the point, I think, at the end, well, Laenor kind of describes what's going on before, like, off screen, and then they're just kind of basking in, like, well, this couldn't have gone any better for us. Like, you get to be the king consort, I get to hang around for a while, and, like, it's just cool. Like, that's about as good as we could have possibly gotten.
Well,
like,
and I think that's the difference versus what's coming next.
Yeah.
Is that within this time period and this world, that right there is like the best they could hope for.
Yeah, absolutely. Even without the kingship, what
Right.
they currently have
Right.
is about as good as they could possibly
Right.
ask for. With the under wraps, the quietude of it.
Right.
And any other thoughts on that before we get to the counterpoint scene from this with Kristen Cole? What do they call him? Cunt drunk? What did they call?
Yeah.
Later on.
Cunt drunk.
I don't think it didn't say drunk. It was
No,
something
it was
else.
it was cunt drunk.
Was it? Okay.
That boy's cunt drunk. I'm pretty sure you're right. Like it's very close.
Yeah. So we get a sleepless Ray Lewis on the deck of the ship, and old buddy Kristen Cole decides to go join her, and he's feeling a little frisky, right? Hey, let's make a change. Let's just. I know I've been spending a lot of time with you over the last several years. I know you don't like being forced to do these things without having anything to say. Nothing against Laenor, seems like a fellow swell guy. But like, is that what you want? I know what you want is to be able to choose for yourself.
Mm-hmm.
So let's run away together. Like, let's
I
just
think,
run away
yeah.
together.
Yeah, give up your queendom, give up your throne, and come run away with a soiled hedge knight at this point, And my main note of this is Cole has no chill. Yeah, as it's perfectly said later, he's either cunt drunk or cunt struck.
It was struck, is what it was.
cunt struck.
Certainly, yeah.
Yeah,
Or drunk.
and it's he gets it one time, and he's just like, "Oh, I thought we were in love." Oh, my sweet summer
Ugh.
child. It's kind of like the look she gives. She's like,
It's like Rocky
uh,
Balboa.
"That's
Adrian,
great
I
and
thought
all."
we were in love.
Adrian, let's run away to
Apollo
Essos.
Creed.
But I mean, he does make a good point of he wants to do it because like we can go on, we can get married, and I can regain my honor, regain my name, and it's an
By
honorable.
going secret.
I.
Glenn,
Exactly.
you had a point you were trying to get to.
I was trying to get to a point,
Sorry.
and it was
I apologize.
basically like so. if we recall, like a couple episodes ago when they, like Rhaenyra ran off during the big ass hunt,
Mhm.
and then Cole like chased her down. Like if he would have brought this proposal up then, like she would have been all about it.
I think so.
But
yeah. Or
As
at least way more
time-
open to it.
Yeah, more time has passed, and now I think she's seems like more thirsty for the throne, and like, well, I can't just give that up anymore. You know, that I think that is a priority for her now.
Yeah, I mean, I think I like the point where she goes, I'm not yearning for the throne. I am the throne. Like it doesn't matter. It's like I have obligations, I have duties. And he's just not here for it, right? Because he's stuck on his own. Well, I feel bad for choices that were made around me and choices that I made to go along with it. And so, hey, let's just run away together and erase all of that. Like, it's not how it works sometimes, bud. Like, sometimes
I
things
think
are
for
bigger
him,
than
though,
you.
like it's like he gave up, like he broke his oath and all that stuff or whatever, and like he says, like this is one way I can justify like
Right.
getting over doing that or whatever.
Mhm. Right. That's his only option, is what he feels like. It's his only option.
Yeah.
She still has a world infinite possibilities. Like in her mind, yeah, I'm still gonna be queen, even if you're here or not. So, yeah, Abby.
Yeah, so I feel like he comes in here doing like I'm sorry, gentlemen, you can be mad at me if you can feel attacked, that's fine. Doing like the most manly, asinine thing. I am here to solve problems that you didn't ask me to solve. Like,
Listen here, little girl. I can take care of you.
I heard that like you didn't like this and you don't like being told what to do. So I have the plan. I have made the arrangements. Here is how you solve your problems. And she's like, I was just venting. Like that, what? I don't want your fucking help.
I just didn't like Becky at work that one day.
Right? Like I don't need a whole new job and all, like I just
We
was
don't need to
frustrated.
move to Argentina
And he's
because
like
Becky was a
spent
bitch.
time going through
Becky the
his head,
carpet-
like
the
how
carpet
do we
lady?
resolve these issues and blah blah blah. We're gonna have a solution, and I'm gonna bring this to her, and she's gonna love it so much. And when she's like, whoa, slow your roll, he is so like dejected and rejected. Like there's almost an air of like, how could she not want this? Like again, as I said earlier, it's I. He is so selfish asking this of her and not even having the ability to understand it from her point of view. I also get like why he would feel hurt by what their prospect of a future is. That sucks. It sucks that you are not on the same level as her, but I feel like you knew that going in.
Right.
And maybe she didn't give you a choice to go in, but it obviously seems like now you are definitely in.
Yeah. Yeah. I think when Benji put it as like, oh, the first time you get laid and like, oh, let's just run off and get married. Like, it just doesn't even happen in high school, guys. Like, come on. Like,
I saw in the chat, I think it was Imagination Realm, was like, you know, you get pregnant and you have to get married now. Like, he sullied his vows, so now he has to get married. Like,
let me tell you, you don't have to.
like right? It's just, I have a lot of my notes. Basically, every time we see him is just WTF, Cole.
Yeah, I have a running theme with mine as well.
What the fuck, Cole?
Coleslaw.
Coleslaw. Well, that's
Yeah,
Cole's Law as well.
coleslaw's gross. I mean, both ways. Don't bring coleslaw to my barbecue, please.
So definitely, clearly taking the information very differently than Joffrey, our buddy Loudmouth. So, any final thoughts on the reaction here? And he kind of goes pouting off away, and she's like, "Sir Kristen, okay, I'm just gonna stay here on the deck of the ship for a while."
Yeah, I think like before, like whenever she was discussing, the agreement with Laenor, that she's like, this is nothing's gonna go wrong. I still get to, bang Kristen and whenever I want, and
It's gonna be peachy.
she just assumes that that's gonna be kosher. But I mean, he's not in on it because he doesn't want to be a whore.
Right. He wants more. He wants to justify it by having something more out of it. Right. That's
if we had a gender bending episode, this would not even be a conversation. Like, it just wouldn't. She'd be like, no, I can't marry you. Are you fucking dumb? Like that. I'm not mad at what's going on here. I get it. But I'm like, if you. What did you think? I don't feel bad for him. Sorry.
No,
Like,
I don't feel bad for him. I understand where he's coming from.
Yeah,
It doesn't mean I agree with him.
Right.
Like,
He's probably just taking
imagination
a
realm
shot.
Chat puts it well. He took a shot from half court. Got to take those long distance
Half
ones.
court.
Yeah, you know.
Yeah.
That's true.
Shoot your shot.
all right, I think it's time to move along.
To King's Landing we go.
To King's Landing we go. Trojan Train.
As the ship arrives back in King's Landing, Christian Cole is summoned to meet with Alicent to discuss a delicate matter. The king is tended to by maesters as he talks to his hand about his success as a king.
So right when this opens up, right, we've got King back kind of in the courtyard of the Red Keep, and we see Alicent kind of up on one of the walkout areas near the parapet, and looking down on him, and he collapses. Right,
Guy.
not in good shape.
Into his side.
Looking a little worse for wear these days, and we get a bit of a gotcha moment, like a classic Game of Thrones, like, what just happened? When you see that, we see Alicent seeing it, but then it cuts away to Kristen Cole going up the stairs, and you've got jackass page boy walking up and going, Sir Kristen, you've been summoned. And Kristen's like, I just left that bitch of a princess. Like, I really don't want to talk about her at all right now.
He's in a bad mood.
Like, I'm a bit pissy right now. I'm a little butt struck. And he's like, the pages goes, not the princess, the queen. Almost like they're trying to lean into, like, maybe the king just died. And they're trying to make it seem like, now we're calling Rhaenyra the queen. Like, immediately. Like, it was a really soft version of that. I would say.
I never read it that
See,
way, but
I did on
didn't
purpose
at
because
all.
it felt like something they would have done before. Like, where it's like a quick, like, instant payoff of, like, oh, it's not that. But, like, I feel like they could have dropped it at the end of an episode. I mean, like, what? How much time was there between when he collapsed? Did he die? Like, it's not. But I was only when I watched it today, I was like, I don't know if they intended that, but it feels like they did that just because they don't say, like, oh,
I
no.
can see that.
Queen Alicent. Like, no, not Rhaenyra. Like, they just say, not the princess, the queen. Like,
That'd have been
as if
awesome if it was Rhaenyra. Like,
Yeah,
she wants to
that's
see
fair. I
you. Like,
totally-
God damn it.
Yeah.
Need some space.
So it ends up being Queen Alicent, and yeah, that's an interesting conversation.
Yeah. So
Take it away, Bench.
again, Cole has no fucking chill. Literally gets put into an interrogation for 30 seconds. Gets one thing noted to him. Yes, I did it.
Yep, it was me.
Oh.
It was me.
It was me.
I did. Yeah, I did.
Sorry, it was me. You know, I just was like, how could he be on the King's Guard? Say he got captured by a rival army. Tell us your secrets. No. Tell us. Okay, well,
Gotta
here.
say him 3 times.
You just gotta say it 3 times. Oh, damn
Yeah, it
it.
has to be 3
Like
times.
Austin Powers.
Austin
you know?
Powers.
But
Will
it didn't
Ferrell.
take her 3 times. It took her literally half a sentence. And he's like,
Where's
still
Dr.
have my
Evil's
little-
lair?
yeah, my-
I will never
my,
tell you.
You know,
Where's Dr. Evil's lair? Where's... Great.
so the other thing I had
On that bench,
wondering-
that reminds me
Yeah.
of an Eddie Izzard joke, British comedian, and he's
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
if you look back at the nicknames for the kings of England, there are some really interesting ones, including Edward the Confessor. How'd you get that name? Oh, we just had this mistake. Think I did that. Think that was me. Oh, and
was me.
we're having a drought in the West Country. Nah, that was me too. I think I
farted
did
in
that.
the elevator.
I think that was me. Check it out. Pretty funny stuff. Just instantly, like,
Oh, yeah.
nope,
No, I love.
it was me. So Kristen the
I have no
Confessor.
idea who it is.
Christian Confessor.
Christian the Confessor. There we go. But like, I also was like, isn't the wall an option? Because he at this point is when he says, "I understand. You could have me gelded. I'd appreciate it if you didn't have me gilded, didn't have me tortured, because I'll give up all the rest of my secrets. Just kill me." But the wall's a thing. The wall's been around for many a generation before this.
Yeah.
Why not?
I don't
you
think
know,
he's
at least-
skipping that. I think he's kind of including that in the gelding thing. Like Gelding and Scent of the Wall is, to me, kind of wrapped up together. And
Okay, fair.
for
fair,
me,
fair.
he's just saying, regardless of what options you're thinking of, just fucking end it for me, because I am so upset that this girl, who I had no chance with for real, doesn't want me, that I just can't even handle it. Like, just please kill me.
Yeah, and that's
Pretty
That's
soft.
fair. No, that's fair. But it was more like I was reading it more as the honor, because he wanted to earn back his honor. And it's like, wouldn't the wall be an option? And since we just haven't heard about it in this show yet, at all, it's not been mentioned once. So would have been a good time to remind people, hey, there's this thing out this way, we can look into. But that was all I had on it.
Glenny Dog.
Yeah. So for Alicent, like this Cole confession, because I think clearly she's trying to get information about Rhaenyra and Daemon as what happened on that night, and he just kind of like goes and confesses, and I think it just kind of like throws her for a loop a bit, because at this point that would clear Rhaenyra, so where she'd be like, oh, maybe she was telling the truth, but in turn that would mean that Otto von Hightower, her dad, and his little worms or birds or whatever they call them were lying. So I think that's why she's just kind of like, what the fuck? And I think that's why she kind of dismisses him and doesn't blow the whistle. And I think like I kind of got a point later on about like when is the right time in the workplace to blow the whistle, and like
Usually around 5.
around 5 o'clock whistle blowing.
But exactly. And I read your point on that. I was like, I think she's also pissed at Ray because she still feels that she lied to her. Because when she asked, she lied by omission. She found out, because she didn't tell, Ray didn't tell her
I
about
will never tell a lie.
Christian or all that. So I think that's the other thing, is because she sullied herself, as they talked about the last episode. You've been sullied, and it's like, and so I think that plays into it too. It's her realizing that OVH was misled or misinformed or lied straight up. So she's pissed about that. She's also pissed because Rhaenyra, even though she was truthful about Daemon, omitted the fact that, she has broken her, virtuousness with the Knights of the King Guard and made him break his vows, kind of thing. So I think it's her
Yeah, I think
uberly good.
her mind's scrambled right now, probably.
Okay.
Yeah.
What you just said there, she's uberly good, right? Oh, how dareth she? One, she has lied to me. She has not confided within me. And yes, and she didn't really lie to me, because she said Daemon didn't touch her, which apparently didn't happen, and my dad was wrong. And oh my God, but on my walls are pornographic fucking snake-like people sucking dick, and that is the artwork you choose for your room, and you are gonna be aghast by this. I'm sorry. How the fuck is that on her walls?
I didn't even see it. I missed it.
Didn't notice it?
No.
Oh
I
my
didn't.
God.
Okay.
It is so pornographic.
Yeah, but did she decorate that herself?
She's the fucking queen. She probably gets another,
She
a
just
budget.
moved in.
No, she did not. She's had a baby. She can do whatever the hell she wants. But I'm just like, that is what she's like, oh my God, how could she? And does this whole, the rest of the show, we have her just fucking, I have had enough, because this virtuous virgin of a woman has just crossed a line, and on her walls are literally, it's lined with just one mouth to one dick and one snaking across the walls.
Or were they ducking across the wall?
They were definitely ducking and snaking and other things with F's.
It's do as I say, not as I do.
Yes.
Hey,
I'm into some weird stuff. But
That's
No.
why she wanted Daemon to see the tapestries.
that's pretty great, Mackenzie.
Oh, that was funny.
That's pretty great.
That was my whole thing for the rest of it. I'm like, but your
I
wall.
totally didn't see that.
Are you kidding me? She didn't lie.
I was more worried about, focused on Kristen's posture the whole time, where he walks in, he bows, he is so concerned, what am I doing here? Why am I here?
Yeah.
because he thinks it almost feels like she knows about him, right? He's
Yeah.
almost like
Folds like
going
a fucking lawn
going
chair.
through the whole thing of like, is this the point? Like, is it coming out right now? And he chooses for it to. One thing that I'm incredibly interested to see, which we don't know if this information is to Kristen yet, is any of the stuff around Daemon and her.
Right.
When he
Yeah,
finds out about
that's what-
that, I think
And I
he's
don't
gonna
think-
fucking go ballistic even further. I think it's gonna be a big
Because
pinpoint, a big
sloppy-
pinion
I
point,
sloppy
thought that-
seconds.
Immediately.
because Allison's clearly talking about Daemon and
Right.
Rhaenyra,
Yeah.
and he just jumps into like, play the whatever card you want to call it. But if she would have like broached
Like,
the
no,
subject
I
of
was
like, you
talking
hear
about-
about like, oh yeah, like, oh, you did it too? Like Kristen would
You're the sloppy
fucking
seconds.
lost. Kristen,
Yeah,
the
he would've lost.
sloppy seconds, the confessor. Oh man, I'm ready to see
same
him
night?
find out about that whole piece of information as well. I think it's gonna go pretty badly for somebody. So let's move along from there, and we have the king. Yeah, not in good shape, right? And we see Orwyle, the Maester, and Melos kind of bickering back and forth a little bit. Any thoughts there?
Yeah, there's leeches that I guess are being used, and like I think they're just trying to do anything like to just heal his pain or whatever. But I think like at this point, like because he's talking
feel
to
the
the
juice.
hand, right? And he's just like basically, was I a shitty king? Like I haven't really done anything, I'm like, and I think it goes back to the Sandlot where like Benny, before he pickles the beast, he runs into Babe Ruth in a dream. He says like heroes get remembered, but legends never die, and I think that's what he's getting to is like people remember me for like several years, but eventually I'll be forgotten, or
YouTube is forever, Glenn.
but I haven't done nothing good enough to really like make a name for myself.
I think
Gumby
Lord
will live in
Strong. Sorry, Ben, go ahead.
Oh, I was saying Gumby will live in infamy.
Gumby will live in
Gumby.
infamy. Yep. I think Lord Strong is one of the very few people not on my annoyance list.
Pretty fair.
I mean, I like him a whole
Club
lot.
Sandwich is dead.
Yep. I mean, he could have done better at having a
Double
kid,
club.
but
Hero
Yeah.
sandwich.
like there are better sandwiches out there to have and to eat, and I wish he would have picked one of those, but he didn't. But like there's like that little spat with Orwell and the other Maester. And-
Melos.
Is it Orwell who gets pushed out, or
Yeah, Orwyle's the younger guy, the kind of underling. Melos is the Grand Maester.
but the Grand Maester gets pushed out.
But he leaves.
Yeah, because he's like, I made like this tonic or this potion, and he's like, no, leeches have always worked. And is it Melos then pushes him?
Well, it was Orwyle that was that I made this tonic that I think is be better than the leeches, and it was Melos who said the leeches have always
Right.
worked. And
And then Orwell goes over and pushes him out of the way, and he leaves. And the tonic is given, and I'm like, what is the hierarchy here? I do not understand the
Yeah.
Maesters. Like, it makes me so sad for Sam later on, because I'm like, these people are given such a height in seat. Like, what is going on here? Like, get control of your subordinates, or quit offering leeches, or be like, hey, here's this revolutionary doctor or whatever you want to call them. Like, we're gonna defer to him, because instead he's gonna allow him to push. I'm like, they are so fucking useless. I hate the Maesters. I
Oh,
hate
man.
them. They're useless.
we'll see where it goes on your thoughts. I think there's important things that will come up between
think-
those
I
two
think it's
characters.
really-
Leeches must or go sorry.
I think it's really funny because like you have these very intelligent people often, right? Like just in any type of job,
They
but
make-
like the highest of the high, who have that like super high IQ, who do not always have like the best like maybe street smarts or like
and-
social
and
awareness.
They make disgusting soups.
They do, possibly. So I do think maybe, I don't know, everybody has a place, but I just don't feel like whatever Grand Maester whatever is worth a ding dang. That's all.
Melos.
Yeah.
Yeah, it definitely feels like New Guard kind of showing like, yeah, the leech thing, kind of old school. Probably not fixing the problem.
Doesn't work, right?
And it seems like maesters, like throughout history, it's just almost like they learn from each other, like with what they've written and stuff like that. Where, and I guess that's how, through history, that's okay. Like, let's just see. Oh, you have a fever? Try this, and see if that works. And then, oh, he died. So no, that didn't work.
Hey, you gotta take notes.
Next time we'll try something else.
Gotta take notes for sure. Yeah, we also have. This is where we have the conversation between the Hand and the King about how will I be remembered, right?
Yeah.
And I think Strong is being pretty diplomatic without
Pretty strong.
being dishonest too. Like I think he's being careful about what he says, but he's also, I think, genuinely just having the conversation of like, yeah, it's probably just better not to be tested. Like in general, I'm not trying to say that you're weak. Like we don't know, but you're probably better off. In general, it's not good for anybody to have the challenges. Like
He says specifically, those that have been tested wish they had been spared. Which
right.
I think somebody who lives with like that regret or that survivor's guilt or that like whatever, yeah, absolutely. Like my life would have been so different without this trial and tribulation. Sure, it turned me into the person I was, but it was hard and it maybe put some really bad aspects into my life and to rule in peacetime. And as he like says, like he ends
Jaehaerys.
yeah, like in peace. Like what's so bad about that? Like sure, you're not a great song or you're not a great story, but like
What's more important, great songs or
Like,
the
peace.
wealth and safety of your
Right.
people? Like that's up.
If
Right.
you ask David and Dan who has the best story, but
Yeah, I mean it's boring, right? That's what he's talking about. It's more boring and not exciting, but at the same time, that excitement is usually fraught with peril.
Yes.
Like it's not a good thing for
No.
most people involved.
And I really think like being content within that happiness or within that like calm is the makings of a really good person. Like,
yeah. I mean, and just to point it out, some of the best presidents the U.S. has ever had are presidents you never hear of. They're presidents that
The Van
you know,
Buren's.
they don't get
I mean,
recognized
Van
because it
Buren.
just
Hamilton. It's like the presidents that
Phil H.
were
Are not on money, on dollar bills.
I mean, yeah. So I mean, some are on money, but like
They're
some
not
are
on the
remembered
Rushmore.
slightly. But like they're not, they're not the FDRs, they're not the Abe Lincolns, they're not the wartime presidents, they're not the
Hey Blinken.
generals,
Hey, Blink.
Abe
Right.
Lincoln.
in all the world over.
Achoo!
You
Here,
will never
that's who you can-
find another
A
Mount
lion.
Rushmore. It's one of a kind. I
and
can
I'm just saying,
continue
like,
with that song if you'd like to hear the whole thing.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll be done.
But who am I thinking of?
Awesome.
not Eisenhower,
Amazing.
But I mean, even Eisenhower, he was a peace-ish time. But you don't hear about them, but they hold so much more control over the history and the trajectory of the nation and their realm than the ones who were peace or were wartime, were the generals, were the fighters. The peacetime ones are the ones that put their nations on the path. So it's not a bad thing. Yeah, are you gonna be remembered? No. But did you set shit right in the right path? Hopefully.
And I think it's just like he wants to be remembered, but not for negative stuff. It's kind of like
Yeah.
Bill Clinton. Like everyone, oh, he was a great president, but then he had that little, scandal with Monica Lewinsky, and that kind of tarnished his.
Well, that's all anybody's
Reputation.
ever going to remember. Like, if
Yeah,
you ask me
exactly.
what Clinton did, I'm going to be like, Monica Lewinsky. And other than that, I can't really tell you. Like,
He played saxophone.
He play,
I do remember he wasn't allowed to eat at McDonald's, and there was maybe a time where he was like walking to lose weight and then snuck in to get McDonald's or something.
Yeah.
Like, that's it. Those are the things. I was also pretty young, but like you're just saying right there was a peacetime, whatever. Like, that's what I know of Clinton.
And on that note,
Let's move on.
let's move along
Move
to a
along.
KL wedding, part 1.
KL wedding. All right, KL wedding part 1. With the Valerian family en route to King's Landing, families are announced upon arrival to the wedding banquet. Guests meet with the king and princess until the Valerians arrive. Daemon also sneaks in before the king makes a speech. Alicent interrupts said speech and makes her way to the table in a green dress. The speech continues.
So I have a really good point, but I want Abby to start first because her note just says, ooh, me first.
So I do not know if this is, I'm going to use the word canon because I learned that from this podcast. Or not like from you people all here. This is
Cannonball.
canon. I'm like, what the fuck does that? Oh, now I know. So I don't know if this is canon.
It means canonical.
Not okay, sure, whatever. But I'm not sure if Harold is always the guy, whatever his like job is within the realm, would be announcing these people.
Westerling?
Yes, Westerling. Like I don't know if that would be really his job or if there would be like
As commander of the King's Guard.
right, like an orator of some
Could be.
I don't know. But
Think about
even if they deviated from the book, they made the absolute right decision. Graham McTavish has a voice to introduce people that is my
They
note
really
on
should have
this.
shown the people he didn't know who they were. Like, here's
This
this guy
guy.
and his family are here.
Yeah, normally it would be someone else. There would be kind of a dedicated
what-
person doing
yeah.
it. But I like the move in general, even if it's not like, hey, because that's the guy who's basically the security. He's the bouncer. It's almost like he's allowing
You're not
them
on the list.
to come through.
Yeah, I was gonna say
And it makes sense. You know, he should probably be closer to the king if doing his real job. But you
I
know,
just love
it
his
makes sense of like
voice.
he's also allowing the people, the
I am
bouncer.
letting you in, like you're on the list, and here, yeah. No, I love that he gets to do the announcing because, I mean, I feel like this is only time 5 in this show that we've got to see Graham McTavish, and we could see him
Yeah,
more.
I
That'd
know.
be
Like
fine.
and like when we do see him, it seems like it's like a minor thing, you
It
know,
is.
right?
He's such a great minor character. He's amazing. He is not on my annoyance list.
Money to just say 2 lines. You're gonna get as much out of him as they can.
I wonder if he could like if you're getting married or something, like just hire him
Oh, I would.
to like everyone just kind of come in and he just announces who they are.
What's that? The cameo. You get him as a cameo, just have him standing at the door with the with an iPad.
All right, find me a husband so Graham McTavish can announce me. I love him.
So right along with all of the excitement, no, I
I'll
really
write- I'll write him a
no,
letter.
all of the hullabaloo of this, right?
Right.
Oh my God, it's wedding season again, guys!
Oh my
God. Like it has all the excitement of the tourney and all of these events. We're gonna have so much fun. There's gonna be knitting. That's not a thing that they
Everyone's
do.
excited for the knitting.
They have a crochet off.
Yeah, there we go. All right, I'm
Yeah.
in on that. Yeah.
I don't know. It just felt like back at say Joffrey's name day, right? Like the festivities where they're having the melees, and like I was all excited about it. I was real excited. Like, okay, let's do some more tourney stuff. Like, let's get into like the not nitty gritty for like
The archery
10
tournament.
minutes. Like, yeah, let's do some more just Renaissance fair shit for a couple minutes. Like, let's just lean into
He
it.
split Sir Robin's arrow in twine.
That's every time we talk about the tournament. That's all I hear. Like that's all I see.
So I don't know. Was it just me? Like before we see everything going on, but like it just felt like it was
Let's give him
ramping
the
up
chop.
to be a good time.
Yeah, that was Jason Lannister too. He's like, I'm so excited for the festivities.
Such a pleasure to be in your presence.
Yeah, sorry, I didn't really like name off. There's like seemed like a shit ton of people who just come and talk, and I just kind of summed it up by guess.
Yeah, no,
with
that's
King and
that's okay.
Really,
There
the only
were
one that was announced was it was
and Gerald
Lannister,
Hightower.
Hightower and
Well, and then Royce comes
one-
up.
Royce.
Yeah,
That's
Royce
yeah.
comes up.
I don't know if he was
Hobart
announced.
Hightower and Gerald Royce. Gerald Royce kind of cuts off. It looked like Hobart Hightower right after Lannister was finished. He walks up and like cuts him off at the pass.
Yeah. But I was saying,
And-
I don't know if Royce was announced as a.
No, it was
entering,
just those two. It was just those two
Yeah.
families announced, Lannisters and Hightowers.
and the Valerians then. But yeah, so we get the Valerian entrance and we get the not weird, but very diplomatic, very cordial my betrothed, my betrothed. Like kind of
They're-
cutesy. You have to say what you're gonna. It's we have to make a good showing if we want those pot holders and the crystal glasses for the wedding presents. We gotta
put on the show.
make our we gotta put on the show.
They've definitely bought in.
Yeah.
Yeah, they have a job to do, and both of them are clearly here for it. And I don't think that was terribly surprising at all. I mean, they know
No, not
this
at all.
is a matter of let's get the job done, let's do it well, and then we'll figure other things out. But yeah, on well, we'll come back to him. We'll come back to Gerald Royce in a little bit because we have another moment with him later on that I think we can cover him. But after the Valarians are in and everything's all settled,
They kind of like stop the show, right?
oh yeah, because even they kind of cut off Royce in the middle of that conversation with the big drums, and it's like, okay, party stops. Hobart, Hightower, your group, you gotta wait longer, like because now main attractions here, and they come in with a fanfare. They do the things. They're all sitting at the table, at least the primary folks, if you will. And we get another person who joins the table, a little unassumingly, but a lot of whispers like, "Oh my God, it's the king's brother! Oh my God, did you see it? It's him! It's him! It's Damon! It's the king's brother!" Like, yeah, we know. Just it could have been silent for me instead of the whispers. Just like almost like no one's giving it credence because
That's
I don't know.
he is chaos incarnate.
Oh,
Like,
absolutely.
And I don't like Damon. He is the scariest person I have ever seen on Game of Thrones or the show. And maybe I can end up being honest. I don't really know, but he is such like a narcissist and a master manipulator. Like he knows exactly when to push the buttons. He has these people pegged. Like
He knows exactly who
Viserys is not going to do anything. Like we're in a group of people. It's on display. There's nothing happening to me. So to undercut him,
I'll just let it happen.
I'm going to go now. Because he has no option. Because I know him.
He's either going to make a scene, which he
We
won't.
won't.
Right.
Yeah.
That's his other option,
Right.
and he's not going
He's
to.
not going to because he knows him so well. Oh, like worse than Ramsay. He is terrifying because he also can just flip. And if you become not the like object of his affection, he will flip on you. He is a terrifying type of person to be around.
Where Ramsay was very hyper focused on.
Ramsay was just being
Okay, so perfect description. Ramsay is a psychopath.
Yes.
Ramsay
Just
just has a killing mode.
and he enjoys
Damon
killing.
Is a sociopath.
Yes.
Damon knows exactly what he's doing and knows how to control the situation
It's
to
the
his
control,
credit, to
the
his benefit.
manipulation. He
Yeah.
gets off by that type of like having people in hand, and it is terrifying.
Yeah.
Like
And
I
he
hate
can weasel
him.
out of it too. Like if he gets in a
He's
pinch,
Derek
like he-
Bateman. And for those of you that get the reference, thank you.
You're unwelcome because I don't.
They are welcome.
I know you don't.
I'm
I
sorry.
don't think anybody in the panel knows.
I
which I'm
think I
okay
know.
with.
I think I know.
Derek Johnson.
Ooh, ow. Just hurt my ears.
Yeah, Derek Johnson.
Derek Johnson.
That's who it was. So Damon gets his seat at the table.
But why? Fucking cut him down
I'm not-
right fucking
I'm
there.
not
You
justifying it. I'm just
got
saying
to
he does.
knock that bitch
Oh,
down a
we're
few
out of
pegs.
seats. What do you,
He
Like,
gets a specific
it's-
chair.
Ugh.
Yeah, King starts his speech. It's going well. He's excited. He's pumping up the crowd. Hey, we got a really proud moment. We're really glad to bring these two houses together. Oh shit!
shit the bed.
Girl in green dress coming to make a statement. Abby, I'm going to jump to you first here
You know
on the green
how,
dress.
Like you guys have specifically discussed, like you don't like it when the show like is like, hey, it's been 7 years. Hey,
It's been
it's
1
been
week.
this
I don't think we've been saying we
No.
don't like it. I think
No,
they're,
no.
we're
What I'm
pointing it out
saying,
that they're doing
a
actually
good job.
a pretty good
no,
job.
you
on
have
it.
alluded to the fact that you don't like that, like what do we call it, the Babysitter Club's first chapter?
Yeah, the exposition. Oh,
Do
gotcha.
you know what they put up on the tower when they've called their banners? Ooh, it's green. I'm like,
Well, in fairness, I do like, as the guy who does get bugged by the show
Yeah.
not telecast. I appreciate that. I mean, yes, you could tell if you had no context for anything, just watching these 5 episodes, you could probably figure it out.
Yeah, she was
Probably figure out
pissed.
that it had some sort of meaning. This just gave you the context of the meaning.
And I
So
get that, but I just like, ooh, she's wearing a green dress to impress. I'm like, oh my God, could there have been any other way? Like, throw your daggers. I don't know. Your dress is how your dress is how you're going for it. Fucking weak sauce. Like,
Yeah.
come on.
I mean, I wore a green shirt and a green hat, and nobody said anything.
Right? That's what I'm saying. They don't give a shit
So-
about you.
They don't care
You
about
we know it's if you
motherfucker.
wear chartreuse.
me.
So I actually kind of liked that they made it blatantly obvious, like, as to why Viserys and Strong are like in the middle of the speech,
Wait.
like dumbstruck, right? Like,
Has she never worn green before?
not since she's been
She's always wore
queen.
blue. We've always seen her in blue. Like, that's been her color.
Oh, and that's
Oh, shit,
stupid.
she's got a
Green's way
different color
better.
on.
I mean, blue's
I
my
mean, it's
favorite
it's a
color.
great color, but
What if you're colorblind? You're like, what the hell? Who cares?
what's the problem?
What's the problem?
The queen's here. Is that okay? Is there a tiff? But in general, it's intended by her to be a major
I
statement.
get that. My
Like,
problem is that as her major statement, she chose a color of a dress.
It's-
Sometimes
Come
that's all it takes.
On. It's
it's
like,
it's
I get it.
subtle in a
It's
way,
just
but at the
fucking
same
dumb.
time, it is a very clear, to those who know, it's a very, very obvious statement.
I think
and
it's,
they all,
It is a beta choice.
Highway K.
It is a.
It's kind of silly, but
It.
I think at the same time, though, is her late arrival. Like, she does.
it's the combination.
think, like,
it's the combination that makes it
What do they
valid.
call that?
Go on.
It's similar to. So I watched this documentary one time, and I can't remember what it was called or anything, but it was on Kim Jong Un specifically.
Where the fuck are we going with this?
Where are we going with this? She asks.
Kim Jong One Weg Wondar Un.
So, like, if you remember, like, a few years back, Kim Jong One Leg One Darun.
Sorry, that's a Glud joke as well.
So if you remember back, like, a few years ago, when President Trump was trying to meet with Kim Jong Un, and then, like, after that happened, like, there was this big whirlwind of all these world leaders wanted to meet with him too, to conform. But one of Kim Jong Un's big things was, you're waiting on him. He's not waiting for you to come. You're waiting on him, and then he shows up late,
Mm-hmm.
so that you're, it's a power move, I think.
Oh,
Where
absolutely.
you're waiting on him, and not the other way around.
No, it's certainly a power move, and it's a bit like what we saw with Corliss earlier. Very different, but she knows the stage has been set. Like, she knows when it is, and cutting him off mid-speech
calculated.
with her, it's very calculated, certainly. And that's why I think the dress is her silent way of saying it's the timing that makes
Yeah.
the dress valuable. If she just would have showed up ahead of time, oh, her family's going to be
she
here.
gets
Like,
in
maybe
there.
it's not a big deal, but the way she presents this
Yeah,
is,
it's
I am
an
making a
entrance.
statement.
Yeah, it's just passive aggressive.
Yeah.
Oh, it's 100%
That's what
passive
my
aggressive.
problem with
That's all
it
she's
is.
allowed to do.
That's all
No,
she's.
like-
realistically.
It's not though.
In her mind,
Exactly.
it's
she
a
needs
very
to change
powerful
her
move.
fucking mind. Like she
I'm
can
gonna
do
tell you, it's probably
so
gonna have to
much
be a pretty
more.
powerful move.
In fairness, Ab, she's literally a daughter of the third strongest family in the realm. Let's say Hightowers at best are the third, maybe fourth.
Yeah, they're in talks. They're
I
up
mean,
there.
we know Targaryen, Valerian, Lannister, Hightower.
It's in the conversation. All of them.
It's
They're
in
like,
the
yeah.
conversation.
They're like the Bengals.
And so she knows
okay.
she's coming into battle against two
We're
of the most
going to
powerful
war.
houses.
I'm gonna wear
Yeah.
a green dress. Like I
It's-
get
I
it.
mean,
I understand the symbolism and all of it. I just hate that it's a fucking dress color. Like I don't know. It's just
Blame
me.
George R. for this one.
This,
then.
it's
Yeah.
me. That's okay. That's
It's not
fine.
a show thing. Just
That's
telling
fine.
you.
Yeah.
He writes women so well.
He writes their dresses even better.
It was a cool dress.
So-
Can't lie.
Hey, come on.
So when she gets up to the dais there, she does give Ray a little look like it's I know you know, or I know and now you know that I know, but I'm not going to tell you I know. You're going to have to figure it out. And then Rhaegar's like, fuck, she knows.
Oh, there was something there. How far does it go?
Because she calls her stepdaughter.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
And like the last time we saw them, they were kind of on better terms. And then there was the question and the belief. And so it was like, okay, maybe things are smoothing out, right? Maybe. And then, yeah, you leave with stepdaughter.
yeah.
Yeah, that's again a double
Yeah, you
statement
done
right
fucked
there.
up. Yep, you done fucked
Especially
up.
with the entrance.
Yeah.
It's very clear that Rhaenyra is like, how
Yeah.
much? Or like, because she has a couple different things. What does she
Right,
know?
like-
Right? It's
And now, and like thinking about this right now, I feel bad for Viz because he's like,
He's
okay,
so left
there's
out.
something going on. I didn't do anything wrong.
He's-
I did not do anything fucking
I've
wrong.
only tried
What
to make the
fuck's
right
going on here?
choices here. Like I'm trying
And
so
I think
hard.
it's the same. Like he's trying to get the speech out because
Yeah.
I got a speech. Like, dude, if I was doing a speech, I mean, I had a class where we did a speech every class, and if I'd have been like, if I got interrupted or just distracted, I had to start over. So I get like, if I have to start this goddamn speech over, like I just want to get this done. I got a 2-minute speech I got to do, and then that's it, and then I can just relax.
At the end of this episode, Glenn's going to recite all of the speeches he gave for that class.
I might still have them somewhere.
They might still be in this house.
I'll see if I can find them, and I'll.
All right. So show and tell next week.
Perfect. I'm here for it.
It was
It's the letter S. First
what was that class? What's that guy's name?
How to win friends and influence people. Dale Carnegie.
Dale Carnegie. That was the class was all about.
What the hell just happened there? That was impressive.
It's kind of a Toastmasters
Yeah.
staple.
Yeah, it was a good class, but
I was barely listening.
but you learn how to do speeches is what I.
That's what you got out of it.
That and like how to like lower your stress levels at times.
Hey, give me them secrets.
Give me them secrets.
that'd be nice.
Have I got a book
Roll
for you?
one.
believe in how
Oh my
to succeed in
God.
Roll-
business
roll
without really
one.
trying.
Rule 1: don't criticize, condemn, or complain.
I love that. You've told me that before. That's like
Rule 2. Get the fuck
I don't
over
remember
it.
the other rule. The
I don't
first rule was the best
abide
one.
by those rules because I criticized, condemned, and blamed
A lot of
regrets
people.
all
a
the
lot
time.
of people.
all damn day.
That's kind of
every day.
your initial
My
move.
shtick.
All three. You just boom, boom, boom. All right. So the king kind of finishes his speech and they move along so far. So should we move along?
Move along.
Let's move along. All American
Jojen.
Reject. Glenn,
And this is KL Wedding Part 2.
KL Wedding Part 2, please.
The betrothed share a first dance together. The congregation joins
Speech
the
class
dance
really worked out for you.
as Allison meets with family from Old Town. Luke is a douche. Sergio
I was
Roy
condemning and complaining.
confronts Damon about the mysterious death of his Lady Rhea. Damon joins the dance with Lady Lenora, as Luke would say, as Lawn Moth cracks the case on Rhaenyra's secret.
A lot of, I'll call it like, it's like a bunch of micro scenes, right? I know Glenn and I talked after he got the scenes done. He was like,
yeah,
man,
softball the other day. I was like,
some of this shit in the wedding, it's just,
it was
there's
so hard.
so
'cause it
many
was like,
things.
There's so like this little stuff that is just like, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah, totally understand. And so we'll,
Again, thank you, Glenn.
Yeah. That wedding scene had to have been difficult.
so the overall set of scenes here starts with, you know, Ray and Leno are putting on the show, right? They go and kind of start the dance, and I don't know, the dancing. It's just kind of going on throughout this, which is kind of creating these scenes of like small groups of people, because you can kind of in the mass of
So
people.
this is like, okay, the first dance and then the cha-cha slide.
Yeah. Yeah, I think we're there, and everyone's Charlie Browning for a while, and
They're getting their Charlie Brown on.
I don't know, dancing, stupid. Anyway, continue.
That'd be fun.
Continue with it.
So, amidst all of this, the first dance kind of happens. Any other thoughts on Rhaenyra and Laenor? It
I
kind
thought
of
it was
goes.
cute. Like honestly,
fine.
like they were.
They have a choreographed dance. I
They,
know.
they did their duty well though.
No,
Like
fine,
they
like-
I
gave
know.
a show.
Like I said, they're putting on the show.
Yeah, they
It's
are.
really not their fault. They like are pretty much told that they're doing this. Or
It's
whatever,
like
so
Harry and Padma Patel. So there you go.
Yeah,
Or
but
one
they
would
dance way
say,
better than those two.
True.
but no, like
Anyone
I thought it
could.
was cute.
That's fine.
It was-
You can't hate on them.
I'm not hating on
They're
them. I'm
doing,
hitting on
they're doing
dancing.
their thing.
I'm hitting on
Hey,
dinner.
hey, that's
dancing
my
here.
personality, not Luke's. Don't put that on him.
No. I agree with they're putting
Yeah.
on the show well. It's just a dumb show.
It's just a dumb
It's just a dumb
funny.
show. But we also
Wait till you
get
married.
Alicent kind of right after they finish their dance and like other people start congregating on the dance floor. She takes that opportunity immediately to go up to Hobart Hightower, her uncle, and kind of solidifies that, yeah, he kind of understands the message that's being sent. It doesn't know the context necessarily,
It doesn't
but
matter. to him.
regardless,
Get ready.
he's
Or irregardless.
we stand with
we
you.
stand with you. Yeah.
Old Town stand. I thought it was smart for her to go directly to who should be her closest
Right.
allies and figure out, because they can't say these things,
Right.
but the message is sent,
Like,
it's received and returned.
Yeah, are
like
you-
it was very successful for what Alicent was going for.
are
in
you
my
getting what
opinion.
I'm putting down over
Happy
here?
St. Patrick's Day.
Happy
Received.
St. Patrick's Day. You know, Clover's all the way. Aaron go bra.
Everybody else is going to get
Old-
pinched at the
Old
wedding.
Town go bra. There you go.
Old Town Gold
Glenn.
So,
you-
yeah, it was
or
very much
Ben,
a,
take it away.
Well, I was gonna say that scene was very much a okay. You can't ask where we're going. I can't tell you what we're
Oh,
doing.
that's my
You
favorite
just
movie.
have to come with me. And
We'll never talk about it again.
when we're done with this, no questions asked. Whose
Mhm.
car we taking?
Whose car are we taking?
That's yep.
I feel like we've had some of those moments with this group before.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Call the Wild.
That's these ears.
Glenny dog.
So, are you basically talking about when Sir Gerald Royce confronts Daemon, right?
Yeah. Yep.
About the mysterious death of Lady Rhea, his cuz. Yeah, I mean, this is his, like, definitely the first time he's probably seen Daemon or whatever. Like, he's got to confront him. And, you know, you see Daemon's piece of shitness return because he doesn't give a shit, like, that she died. Like, he's not even, like, sad.
He says the words though, right? He's like,
Oh, terrible.
terrible tragedy.
yeah,
I'm bereft. He
cool.
was the one that used the word bereft.
He
That's what
did,
it was.
yeah.
Breath.
I'm bereft.
Yeah.
Very Willy Wonka-ish.
As
Oh
a-
no! Don't stop.
Well, this is
Please come back. That's
a
it.
piece of shitness because then, like, you know, and basically Royce calls him out, like, you know,
No.
you're
Because David was pretty slick. He goes, "Is this a confession? Like, clearly you think something was more than an accident. Is this a
Yeah.
confession?" He's like, "No, this is an accusation." And David follows it up with, "Well, you have to answer for
Right.
slander here in King's Landing."
I mean, that's just another way
Oh,
of
and by the
him
way, we
just
need to discuss
weaseling
my,
out of it.
Inheritance.
Right.
Yeah, and that's
That was a boss
he
move.
turns it on the head of I get an inheritance out of this shit or whatever, and like the ball's not in your court, basically.
Yeah, you have no power here.
Pretty much. I mean it. But hey, good on Gerald for standing his ground, right? He did the thing, and it was in
Yeah.
earshot of the king too. You know, like so it.
But he lives to play another
Oh,
down.
King
I
was
think.
into his chicken.
I think
Not at that point.
I think
No,
Royce,
he was listening in.
Royce definitely lives to play another down.
Yeah, he's ball in the 15.
He's like, okay, balls on the 15. We're gonna run a draw next play.
It's got to be an end around. It's got to be an end around with Terry
Like
Miggins.
Terry
You're gonna score
Miggins.
for sure. So then from there we have Damon kind of walking out onto the dance floor, right? Abby, any thoughts with him having some combos on the dance floor?
I mean, like, it's she. What's her name?
Lena.
Lena.
Or Lenore.
She definitely is like, hey.
She seems open.
I mean, yeah, like you
On
are
a scale of 1 to America, how free are you? Is kind of what he's saying to her
right, and she's kind of like, I'm pretty free, man.
right
Like,
now. Pretty America.
honestly, like, I do wonder if Rhaenys, being as real as she is, knowing what's coming or what she believes is
It's kind
coming,
of like,
hey, girl, when he gets in there, like,
lock this up.
so that way we have like two, because Aemon is going to be a problem. But if we have
Amen.
Aegon, sorry.
Aegon.
I'm sorry. If like Aegon is
It's
a
like
problem.
Aemon without the D.
No, sorry.
He's
Aegon.
unsullied.
Aegon is going to be a problem, but right now he's 2 or 3, and that's just going to be like out of our reach. But if we lock up 2 of the 3,
Hey, get another hat in the lottery.
right? That's what
Right?
I'm not saying that's exactly what I drew from it, but it wouldn't surprise me if she wasn't like, hey, like,
And
do
we
what you can.
already saw Lena as a young child being pretty open to
Yeah.
like not necessarily grasping for power, but being okay with doing the things it takes to get
right,
there.
absolutely.
So she's been kind of
They did have,
probably raised by Rhaenys and Corlys,
Right.
and she seems way open to it.
Absolutely.
So like, yeah, that's good on her, I guess. We'll see
it
where
was
it goes.
kind of like a cute little cheeky exchange, and I'm like, hey, I like that. That's a little bit of
Give and take. It was
Yeah.
actually
And
like they
dragons.
were, yeah. I mean, they were equals in that. Like she
Yes.
gave it back, and it wasn't him being able to just manipulate her
right.
because she could hold her own against him. Is what it felt like.
Absolutely, I liked it. I thought that was a nice little exchange.
Yeah.
There.
What'd you say there, Benj?
Oh, I was saying she's already shown interest in dragons and such. I don't know if she's
We don't-
achieved hers yet. By this point.
Not
It's
no
been-
confirmation yet.
No confirmation. Spoilers. She gets a dragon, but
Amazing.
yeah,
How
It's,
does
it's a
the-
pretty cool
I would
dragon
say
too.
a dragon.
she
It's
looks
a
a
really
lot
cool
old.
dragon,
Like
too.
whenever the first time we saw her, she looked like she was like 6. Whenever
Yeah.
like she's
Yeah.
like, oh, like maybe the king could marry her, and now she looks like a lot older.
Yeah, I mean, I think we were supposed to believe she was maybe 8 to 11 in the
She
previous
looked
time.
6.
I'm not disagree with you. I think that's what we were supposed to believe. They actually did they give us the age?
They did.
she was 12.
She was 12, I think. Yeah,
12.
and then so now it's been at least
This
3
is 6
years,
years.
plus a couple more, and
Okay.
so yeah, I mean,
It's like
she's
17,
New
16,
actress.
she's
17.
budding.
Right.
Yeah.
But I agree, she's been the act. Yeah, I mean,
And
it's
she does actually
a big
she's
jump
one of
from the
few that actually
previous
gets
actress.
a third actress as well. I think this actress.
Yeah,
only sticks
after the
around.
next one from the
Gotcha.
previews, that's what it is.
so. This
Yeah,
is the
I'm
only
sure.
episode we have with this form of her. Or was
I'm not
she-
sure.
Or was she in the
I
last?
think she
episode?
may.
I don't think she
I
was.
think she may stick around till next one and then a jump for her. But I could be wrong by that. But I do know this character, Lena, has 3 actresses playing her this season.
Well, there you go. That's fair enough.
Yeah.
Interesting conversation between the two. And then they kind of break apart, right? And Damon immediately goes for our friend Ray Lewis on the dance floor.
No.
No, am I skipping? I thought that was
That's-
that's just the next time we saw him.
That's
just the
Kale
next time.
Wedding Part 3.
My bad.
This is Kale Wedding Part 2.
Sure.
Kale Wedding Part 2 still. I am jumping the gun, as they say. And we also we have Loudmouth here. We've got Joffrey Loudmouth.
This was one of my favorite like autocorrects that I've had.
You were typing
I
Loudmouth.
was trying to type in loud, and maybe I just like typed in loudmouth. I don't know what
But
happened,
lawn
but I
mouth.
was like, oh, not loudmouth. Actually,
You know what? Let's just leave
let's
it.
just leave it as loudmouth.
Especially for how it kind of goes.
yeah,
It's fitting, Bubba.
He
But,
kind of
yeah,
talks himself
Victor
into it.
honestly, like
Loudmouth.
should just keep well enough alone. I guess. I mean,
Well, he's excited.
foreshadowing. Yeah, I guess foreshadowing
You
what
know.
happens next, but like in the long run, like he probably just should have kept his mouth shut.
Yeah, I mean, he doesn't know where
yeah.
things went with Kristen and Rhaenyra.
Right.
He doesn't know that.
And
that
I think
last-
nobody
Because
really
everything-
knows that he's a loose cannon.
Well, no, and here's the thing: like Loudmouth, he's the exuberant, young virile male who's like, "Hey, I get to fuck my boy. We get to have our fun." Or he gets fuck me, which I'm not.
Hey,
It's
to each
whichever
their own.
way.
Yeah.
To each their own. She gets to have her fun. I just want to know who she's having her fun with because maybe, hey, we can have a whole thing. Like we all need to be on the same page, and if
Yeah.
we are, great. It makes it even better to. The secrets are better when it's everybody's.
He's trying to
involved. It's-
co-parent well
And this
in a
is-
group.
Exactly.
This is where he says the word construct, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, this is construct, and and so like he's like picking it out, and well, I saw a great meme of, oh yeah, extras have to wear helmets. If you have lines, you don't, because the only ones the only Kingsguard in there that don't have helmets are McGavish and Christian Cole, or all the rest of the kings are all wearing their helmets and the helms and all that shit. It's like, if you're just an extra, we'll just fucking throw a helmet on you. It don't matter.
Yeah, it is kind of funny that they haven't done anything with the other Kingsguard, right? Like, even throughout the previous show, again, we don't want to argue, like, we still knew who most of them were for a long time. It got to a
Not
point
really.
where we stopped knowing who they were, but we had at least 4 of them at most of the time that we would know at least
I
who
think
they
what
were.
it is like, so if they had their helmet on the whole time, you probably wouldn't see you just wouldn't recognize them.
Right.
So it's like Westerling with the kind of like the bald head, goatee stuff, yelling people's names.
Terrible
as they-
voice. Yeah.
The good-looking Scott. I mean,
and then Kristen Cole with the greasy black hair or whatever.
The Cole.
The coleslaw black hair.
yeah, I'd coleslaw's gross.
Pull the comb through your cold black hair.
So yeah, he being Lawnmoth kind of calls out, yeah, hey, I think I figured out who the side piece is over here. I think I figured out who Ray Ray's little buddy is. Like, look at him. He's pretty
and
clearly, yeah.
And Lador's like, leave it alone, dude. Just,
He's like, and stop fucking saying things out loud. Like, stop talking out loud right
Yeah.
now. Like,
just-
stop being a loudmouth.
Not the time and place.
Right. Like, hey, thanks for pointing it out. Stop talking about it now. Like, you got to like realize
Shut the fuck
this is a dangerous thing that we're playing. Like, I know it might feel fun and new and exciting for you,
But
but this is like a whole different level. Like,
They've
all the
been on
excitement.
Drift Park this whole time.
It's a little more
where,
free
You
and-
know, they don't really receive kings and stuff like that, and you know,
Yeah. I
they're
mean,
on King's Landing. where
kind of good on Lador to be like, dude, like, for this not to get fucked up, you got to shut the fuck
we're
up.
a visitor
Like,
in this, hall.
Right. Yeah. So interesting scene. It was neat to see that Joffrey was.
but how neat is it?
That's pretty neat.
That's pretty neat.
And
How
it's
neat
so
is
neat
that?
that I would love to start talking about KL Wedding Part 3.
Oh, that's a good idea because I can talk about that.
God damn, I'm so
KO
glad you
Wedding
want to.
Part 3. Dancing continues as Loudmouth confronts Coleslaw about secrets. Daemon steals a dance with the princess. A fight breaks out as a seeing red Cole beats Loudmouth's face to a pulp.
So let me-
Bench. Yeah.
May I just my first note? A wild mushroom appears. So when I made the comment last week, I know, and this is what I had seen. I'd seen the preview of a quick half second
Mhm.
of the dwarf playing the drum, and people on there like, there he is, there's mushroom, and I'm like, I'm hearing next week we have mushroom. There we go.
It's not. It's just
I know.
not.
I realized that at this point. I'm like, damn it. Okay, so I'm in error in
No,
my-
no. It was definitely led for the Easter egg for people to be talking about it. I mean, in my opinion, it was clearly set that way. We don't see his incredibly large member to confirm if it's him or not.
That's
So
disappointing.
just saying.
Give a girl what she wants.
That's canon.
That's canon.
That's-
Okay, mushroom. Let's get
That's
you in the
canon.
house.
That's canon.
If I was titling these scenes, I just titled this as I was taking my notes here. It's like side chicks talk.
Right? Yeah, so let's get to that because we have like the quick moment of the dancing stuff and then we get right back to our buddy Loudmouth going to talk to Coleslaw.
Yes, and it does not.
And if anyone's not following the nicknames, listen to the whole episode.
Right.
We're-
I think like Coleslaw. Who the hell else is going to be Coleslaw?
I know. I'm just
No,
saying.
I know,
We've
no,
had complaints before of
and-
people
and
saying,
you know.
we don't know the nicknames.
Shea Stadium
Just
was
listen.
pretty. I mean, come on, guys, catch up.
Coleslaw, Loudmouth,
OVH,
Club
which,
Sandwich,
OVH.
which sounds
Ray
sweet.
Ray or Ray Lewis.
Club Sandwich. Is that?
Benji's going with knees for Ray knees. I'm not
Knees.
sure I'm
Big
on
club.
that one yet. We'll see.
But
We'll
I feel
see.
like it's Ray Nice, though.
The way your boy said it was Raynice. I've always said Raynies
Yeah.
to my own readings and stuff.
Yeah.
But
That's
anyway,
okay.
sloppy Joe sandwich.
Sloppy Joe Sandwich.
Yeah,
a good one.
as Phil H would say.
So we're like talking, and my note here is just what exactly did he take exception to? I am very confused by like everything that goes down over the next 3.5 minutes. I don't know,
Like coleslaw. you're talking about?
45 seconds.
We'll get to the second half of it, but yeah, there was. It
I don't
was a
understand.
decent conversation.
I don't get it. It's okay.
Glenn,
my
what do you-
note. We see Coleslaw get shut down by Ray Lewis on the ship, and then he has to work her wedding. Like, I can see why he'd be a little bit on edge. That's just like the worst case scenario, and really, like, he really just needs to get out. Just leave. Just get out. Like, you should not
Try
agree to
take
work.
control, you know.
He's working security at her wedding or whatever, and
He's
he
just
also,
really emotional.
he also
That's
can't
what I'm
just like
saying.
put his request in for leave from our buddy Westerling to be like, the fuck's wrong with you? Like, oh, I can't work the one person I'm supposed to protect. I can't work her wedding. Like, it would look bad.
That's fine. Just get over it. Like, you know what I'm saying?
I get it. Hey,
Suck
it's
it
tough
up,
to get over the
Underdog.
heart sometimes.
No, it's your fucking job. Like, I don't know.
So I think in
You'd
the
be okay.
conversation that happens, Coleslaw is really probably most pissed off that because he still feels terrible about the oath breaking too. We know that that's weighing on him. And if it was this obvious to somebody he's never even met, then it might be really obvious to everybody else. And
Or
that's
that-
only going to
or
go
that
badly
it's
for
gonna-
him.
it's gonna
also,
spread as well.
You could take it at this point too. He confessed his crime. He confessed his, whatever.
due diligence.
And he's waiting for the shoe to drop because he might, he says to the queen, do what you will and all that. And she dismisses him. So now it's kind of one of those of, okay.
Yeah, he doesn't know if he's
your
off the
boss just-
hook or if it was like, now
your
I'm
boss just came to you because, hey, you fucked up. Yeah. Or, well, you admitted fucking up without your boss coming to you about it, but
Mhm.
you fucked up. Okay, I did. And okay, that's fine. We'll get back with you. Is kind of the thing. And now you're just sitting there like, what the fuck? I am fucked. I am going to lose my job. I'm going to lose my house. I'm going to lose all this shit. Where the fuck is this going? And now this guy's coming in. Oh, hey, remember that thing you did? That was really cool. And
And it's cool for me
it's-
too, because now we can all be
Yeah, it's
cool
cool.
together with the secret that you had, because I have that
Exactly,
secret.
But I'm like waiting there. I'm like, I'm gonna get fucking fired or killed or whatever because I did this. Fuck you, So I mean, I can, see the stress that it's really putting on him from that aspect, even on top of it. 'Cause it's both faults. It's broken heart and it's
Broken duty.
where the fuck's my future lie?
Right, absolutely. And
Kind of thing.
yeah, I mean, we've also seen just a couple scenes ago how we don't know if Coleslaw knows this about Loudmouth, but he's a bit of a loudmouth. Like, he doesn't shut the fuck up very much. Like, this is the last person you want knowing your secret
That
right
was
now.
a good autocorrect.
At least in Coleslaw's opinion,
Great
right?
autocorrect.
What's
really
his real name, though?
Joffrey Lonmouth.
Lonmouth.
Lonmouth. Okay.
Yeah,
Loud.
the Knight of Kisses. And he doesn't even know why they call him that, because he's only kissed one guy.
And then he's
So-
another one, like the damage of, you only get him for this one, kind of like Lady Royce.
Mhm.
It's just kind of like a one and done, like, maybe I'm jumping the gun because
Spoiled. So we also let's see where we got that
We
happening,
get the dance,
and then we
next.
get more dancing, and Daemon steals a dance with the princess,
Yep.
right? And this is
Yes.
certainly what I was going to be jumping to here. I just want to make sure I wasn't missing something.
yeah, you tried to bring this
No,
up in
I do have a
KO
plan on
Wedding
this,
Part
Luca, but
2. This is KO Wedding
ours
Part
kind of
2.
combine here.
Okay, do you want to take it away then?
Our
Go ahead.
powers
Start it.
combined.
Sure. Well,
Notes
all my
combined.
note was I really appreciate in this instance. Everybody see like Damon's this big badass motherfucker. Everybody calls him out on his shit. The only one he listens to or kind of respects when they do is Rhaenyra. And she's like, "Take me away, kill my father's Kingsguard. Take it out. Do it. Do it, motherfucker. Do it." And she's like challenging him, testing because he knows he won't. It's the same thing as the bridge scene at Dragonstone. It's you can kill me right here. I'm the heir. I'm the one that I'm the bane of your existence. Do it. And she challenges him, and he backs down.
So it's the only
time.
she's the only character that calls his bluff, and it doesn't backfire on that person. Everyone else,
Exactly.
he retaliates.
She holds something over him.
Viz he hasn't. Viz, he hasn't.
But there's
No,
still a
he
different.
has.
There's
There
still a
has to be.
different card that they
'Cause
start
he gets
from.
banned. He gets sent away, and then
And then
he
he's-
just shows fucking back up. And
Right.
he says, "You're
He's-
not
as I
going
put in
over
the chat
there to
earlier-
the crab eater." And he says, "The fuck I am." So he doesn't listen to him.
No, he doesn't. But he
On the
doesn't-
surface, he does,
it's
but
not
then
to
he
Viz's
also thwarts
detriment.
it
It's not
really
to-
quickly.
Yeah.
But it's not to Viz's detriment. He doesn't do anything to harm his brother.
As opposed
He
to Rhea,
does, though.
who's
He
like
does.
tries to call his bluff.
She's
in
like,
this,
"Then fucking do it.
and
Take
then
me.
he does.
Take me right now."
I'm saying Lady Rhea earlier when she's like, I
Oh,
knew you couldn't
yeah,
finish,
yeah.
and then he guess what he does.
Absolutely.
I'm saying like normally if he gets pushed back on, he retaliates
Well, yeah.
in the way
like,
that they're
hey,
asking for.
Well, where's that lands that I'm supposed to now inherit? Like, where is the
good looking lambs.
good looking land?
Where's them lambs I'm supposed to
They probably
fuck?
are
I mean,
some
inherit.
good looking lambs. Can't lie.
This would have been an awesome moment if Coleslaw was a fly on the wall, or like hearing this conversation, because it's another one where you would have gone ballistic. Like,
Absolutely.
Yeah.
oh,
yeah.
you want to go with this guy?
Right. Like this is the choice that I'm up against. I was okay with the Lenore thing, but like this was on the table too. What?
Like you rejected my
Exactly,
claim,
Mike.
but I mean, I guess it's like smart. Like it's not. Unfortunately for Coleslaw, like he has nothing to offer throne wise. Like, I mean, yeah, I don't know if like Rhaenyra was being serious or not, but if he like takes her up on it, like she still has a legitimate claim to the throne. Whereas,
Yeah.
if she goes with Coleslaw, it's done.
Everything's out. I mean,
Yeah.
it's a you lose your name, you lose everything because of you want this. That's the romantic thing, right? And she's just not that into you, bud. Like it's just not that far for her. If she's interested,
She
not
likes you.
that far. It's
But
not a
she's not
throw
giving
everything
it
away.
away, yeah.
It's there is interest, there is maybe some form of love, but it's not the end all be all love that she's going to run away with you for. I think there's an interest that she still has with Daemon. I think she still has some kind of feeling of, hey, there could be something here that's easy and valuable for the realm. And I think he's got a similar thing for her. It starts with, I think it starts with him caring. It ends up being manipulation. I think he comes from a genuine, he wants it to happen because he feels like it's right.
Oh, I think he's a narcissist.
I think it's both. I think it's
But
both.
he
entirely.
believes that he absolutely
Yes.
cares because she's a prize, and he will treat her so well.
Yeah, and it's the right
And-
thing for the realm.
And it's so great.
Like, it's
And
good for
can't
so many
everybody
things.
else see how good this is? This is like absolutely the thing. Like he's dangerous. He is so.
Did you make
dangerous.
muscatcholi upstairs? That's what it smells like.
Pizza rolls?
Okay, that's terrible.
Luke loves pizza rolls.
I do not like. I love muscatcholi, but
I do love muscatcholi.
anyway,
it's a
that's
great
what it's-
funeral
that's what
food. We might need that by the end of this episode.
we're gonna
Like a
need
St. Louis
some
style
funeral
of
food
speech.
after this. I love
Or wedding.
seeing Viserys' face when he sees Daemon talking to. You're welcome. That's I just farted. That's what that is now.
I think we do see, like, is it Viserys or some of the other, everyone start eating. They're actually cutting into the muscatcholi.
I think it was
He is aggressively like, let me get there.
I need to
I don't even know what he was
feed
eating.
my gum.
he was like just
He's
chicken.
three-fingering it.
Like he's got a
Three
knife and
fingers
he's
and
like,
a
I'm like, oh my god.
Oh, the
Oh, yeah.
muscatcholi
I
that
need
was
some
promised.
muscatcholi.
Yeah.
That's what Jason Landers said when he came in. He's like, "Oh, the muscatcholi looks
Oh.
great." Well done.
Where's the toasted wraps?
It looks.
Let's
I hope
get
it
some
tastes
toasted
as
wraps
good as it
going.
looks.
I'll say one more comment and then get back on track. Toaster raviolis before a hot softball game. Terrible choice.
Muscatcholi.
Did that.
Have you ever
Did
tried
that.
muscatcholi
I,
before?
I would have tried that next time.
Kinda
We go down to Dogtown
Drink
or
a lot
actually
of
the
milk.
hill and get some, and we'll try that next time. But, Damon he talks to Rhaenyra and she calls him out, and he kind of gets pushed back and tail between his legs. Guess who's right there to scoop him up? Lady Lena. Big fan of her coming in right then, right? And
I guess I
She's-
missed that. I don't know.
She's
She
the wound
walks
the
in.
dog. She's like,
I guess I missed
she
it. I
kind
don't
of
know.
swoops in and is like, "Hey, what's up, boy? Like, hey, how
Really?
you doing?
Okay.
So
Right,
I
Bench?
forget
Did
the
you take
line,
it that way?
All right.
oh
I
yeah,
just missed
but
it.
I forget the line, but there's a great meme I saw on Reddit of where always trying to fix him, and he's like, you don't want, you don't know it. She's like, I can make, I can handle it. And it's like, I can fix you is basically what she was, implying or whatever. It's like every great woman thinks that until
We're all fucking wrong.
Until the crazy comes out.
That's what I'm just PSA. We're all wrong. You can't.
Something that somebody in the chat pointed out earlier. I think it was Mackenzie. I could be wrong, but whenever Daemon steals the dance, he Rhaenyra's dancing with
Harwin?
Harwin Strong.
Harwin, yeah. Correct.
Yeah, Mr. Strong.
Right. So
super strong.
Like your hand strong or clubfoot strong?
His older brother. Club Sandwich's older brother.
Club Sandwich's older brother.
Okay.
He's more
We've seen him a couple times.
Gigantic strong,
This is why I'm always confused.
We haven't gotten his nickname
Gargantuan.
yet, but
was that what you're saying?
he's considered
from
one
John's?
of the strongest, truly strongest people in the
He's
realm.
a strong.
And we see him.
He's Bonebreaker. His nickname.
Oh,
is
that was
Bonebreaker.
said earlier. That was when
episode 2. Yeah.
Whenever Viserys was like, "Oh, let me guess, you're gonna tell me that Bonebreaker, your son Bonebreaker, is the right person for Rhaenyra to marry." He's like, "You honor me, but no, I don't think so." Yeah. We do see him again here in a minute when he gets a nod to hey, go in and pull people off the fight. We'll come back to that because get more Elena stuff.
Nope. I thought you were moving on.
Yeah, I think we're getting ready to move on to. We hear some screaming from the back of the hall.
A kerfuffle.
A kerfuffle ensues. Yeah. Maybe a ballyhoo. Maybe a
conflagration.
A Donnybrook.
Shenanigans.
I remember one of the first
Donnybrook
episodes. They're in a melee. Who would you choose? This was one of the first episodes we recorded together, and I was like, I don't know what a melee is.
Oh, that's an actual tournament term.
Maybe episode 4.
It was just so funny. I'm like, what the fuck's a melee? You're like in a bar fight. I'm like, oh, okay, cool, Arya. I forget what it was. The terms I've learned because of you.
But
Hitler's atrocities, but she didn't know how to say it, so she said Hitler's shenanigans.
Hitler's shenanigans. Oh man. Go ahead, Bench.
May I make my comment?
Yeah.
So with this, kind of counterpoint to my thought from the first scene of I wanted them to leave that ambiguous. I want to know what finally set Cole off. All we get is Cole beating the shit out of Loudmouth.
He was just slawing over the whole thing.
Everything. But we don't get the spark. We get the fuse lit, but we don't get the gunpowder blasting cap.
Motherfucker.
Boom.
Yes.
All we get is I'm sick of this shit and going. And I wish they would have reversed those two scenes. Just give me that, because this bothers me. It's why the fuck did he snap? I mean, I get it. We can assume, we can talk, and we can, say, oh, it's because of this. I want to see that specifically. I don't want to see Daemon specifically killing Rey. I want to leave that for thought, if that makes sense. Just from a show.
From watching it the first time, I was like, what the hell is going on? And I was like, is there a mouse on the dance floor or something?
Mouse
like
in
that?
the house.
Is that what's going on? And I was like, oh my God, it's Russell Crowe.
That's what it was. It was Russell Crowe the whole time.
And you see Viserys,
he's fighting around the world.
What's going on here? I'd like to know.
That's what I was going thinking.
And then finally, we do get a little kind of fight.
Even then, it's flash scenes, right? We don't get you have to really be paying attention. Who is in this? And then you see Rhaenyra calling out Laenor, because I think she sees what's going on. She also gets pushed down. Laenor comes over. He gets thrown down. It's really meant to be chaotic and confusing as to what's going on. Right? We kind of have a feeling. It's easy to put
we've all been to weddings
where
there's been a fight.
Yeah, if you're gonna freeze frame it, you can go by he grabbed her.
Throwing guys out of the way so Cole can do shit, can handle his business. There's Kingsguardsmen pushing Laenor down.
Right, because I mean, it's at some point the Kingsguard are there to protect the king, the queen, the whole royal family. If one of the Kingsguard is going fucking going apeshit on somebody, maybe he's doing it with reason to protect the family. Maybe a sword was brandished to go and kill somebody, and so he's doing his duty. I think it's meant to be on a lot of different paths here of like, well, why did no one do anything?
Yeah.
Well, he's got kind of the authority to do these things right now because just of the
Unchecked.
white cloak that he's
unchecked.
wearing.
Like he gets
You would
to
think that
make-
maybe one of the other guardsmen the King's Guard would have shot him like, whoa, like, hey, like, seems like things are maybe under control. Like,
Yeah, I mean, when he's just like punching at him unmercifully, kind of like Bubbles.
Bubbles
his
fighting-
face.
And who did he fight at the bar? Ty Domi.
Never get in a bar fight with Ty Domi.
Guys, never get in a bar fight with Ty Domi.
Beat me unmercifully. But yeah, I mean, his face gets turned into mincemeat.
I did not.
He gets beaten to oblivion.
Like-
that was some good fucking.
It was-
practical effects.
Like-
That's disgusting.
No, they did that to
Absolutely.
him.
It
That
was
was him.
hard
Yeah.
to look at.
No,
Like
nobody really like tried to stop that. And then like I remember like Laenor trying to get in, and somebody like pushed him out of the way.
Yeah.
Like, let him figure it out. There's
Hey, let him go. Let him
two
go.
guys fighting.
it's totally fair
But-
fight right now.
Right.
Totally fair fight.
At one point, like somebody had to see that loudmouth. He was just kind of defenseless.
God.
That if it was a UFC fight, they would have
Yeah.
stepped in.
all I can see
Herb
right there
Dean.
is
Herb
what
Dean
was
would've
that
been
like
there.
claymation MTV.
Celebrity
Celebrity
Deathmatch.
Deathmatch.
Like I can
Yeah.
just
Johnny
see
Gomez
that
and-
ref being like enough in this like
Nick
in my
Diamond.
mind.
Nick Diamond.
Mills
Nick,
Burns. Or
Yeah.
Mills
Mills
Burns.
Mills Lane.
Mills Lane,
Mills Lane. That's it.
Nick Diamond, and Johnny Gomez.
Yeah,
There you are.
it was. That's all I can see. Like where was he?
And Randy Dick Nose.
No.
That's Man vs.
Man
Car.
versus
Sorry.
Car.
So the fight happens. Doesn't go well for Loudmouth. I don't think we'll be seeing much more of him. I don't think he's gonna be seeing much more of anything.
He's not gonna be loud from now on.
Yeah, he's gonna be a little quieter. It kind of sucks for him, right? I mean, like he was excited to have the things going his way.
He was.
He maybe could have had more tact. He also had no idea that Coleslaw was gonna be such a loose fucking cannon right now because to him he doesn't know that Coleslaw was gonna be
He was
not a-
warm coleslaw
We didn't know he was warm.
microwave
because he wasn't chilled.
microwave
just warm.
coleslaw.
I'll put in the oven.
Ugh.
Fucking warm coleslaw.
And like he doesn't know what kind of machine he's putting a quarter in when he's like trying to. It
And
seems like he was trying to be genuine.
drunk. He's probably like
He's been
a little bit
you know,
tipsy or something. He's probably got liquid courage where he's I'm gonna confront this
I'm gonna be like, hey, let's be buddies,
coleslaw.
and we'll just keep each other's secrets. And it's gonna be
He thinks he's
cool.
doing nothing wrong, right?
No,
right,
Like
yeah.
it's all good. Everything's fun amongst friends.
I know a secret. You know a secret.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
Cole obviously doesn't take it that way or whatever happened. Like he
I
takes
think-
exception to whatever happens. and-
Yeah, I think it's just like he's just spiraling out of control, and he's a loose cannon. And this guy, he's working his ex-girlfriend's wedding and stuff, and like this guy comes up here saying this stuff, and like he's like, motherfucker. I understand why he's on edge,
'Cause he's emotional.
right?
Emotions.
And I think
Time.
I'm sure he doesn't want. He just thinks this is probably gonna. If this asshole knows, it's gonna spread.
Right.
Absolutely. Yeah,
I think that is what I took from it, but also
amongst several that you very clearly pointed out, like amongst everything else, the fact that it all could get out because this
Yeah.
guy figured it out,
because he's still
so easily?
defending
or
Rhaenyra
who
there
told
too.
him? Like, how did he find out?
Yeah,
So who else knows?
because he
And he
doesn't
doesn't know
have the
that-
context.
Yeah,
of-
he doesn't see that
He just kind of figured it out on
Yep.
his own.
that his own intuition's like
that-
that's the guy.
I'm just over here being construct.
and he could be seriously doing his job of defending his princess. Like,
So
I'm gonna look for next wedding I'm at. Just look at all the guys. Like who's construct?
Who's construct by the bride,
Who's the
That
bride
guy.
fucked in the past?
or who wish they would have? Yeah.
Yeah.
oh my god, I
That
wish
guy-
I was at a
One
wedding. kinda like
production-
that.
one
Actually, you all were
production
there
note
with
that
If
me.
we were there at the
You were
reception
all there
video
with me.
last weekend, Abby was at the tail end of a wedding.
Oh boy, yeah.
Right. One production note I'll say about this scene. This had more jump cuts than a Bucky Tooth Beaver Kevin Dunn WWE wrestling match from scene to scene. It's like 1 second shot, 1 second
we
shot,
all
1
know
second
what
shot,
that
1
means.
second shot, 1 second shot. It's like, fuck you. I fucking hate that shit. It's not a good action scene. It doesn't build suspense. It just builds headaches. It
I'm here
let
for the
the
headaches.
action play out.
It's the
You know,
chaos and the like
headaches?
stifling.
I
Like,
get the
yeah,
chaos thing, but here's the thing: one of the best chaos scenes in fine, Game of Thrones. Going back to that,
yeah.
best chaos
I
scenes
I
is
can I guess what you're gonna say?
you probably are. Go ahead.
Say it. Go for it.
No,
It's that
what's your
round
guess?
fucking fight.
Yep.
Yes,
Yep.
like they come
Single
in,
shot watches
they
on the
get
wall.
We all know.
I've said
squeezed
my favorite
in.
shot.
Chaos is a
I've said
letter
it many a
opener.
time. I've said many time. It's watches on the wall, the single circular
Yeah,
one
that
shot
battle.
scene.
Yeah,
That builds suspense. It builds intrigue. It makes you fucking enjoy it. Jump cuts just makes it seem like you're too lazy to fucking film an actual full on scene. You want to film this shot, then film this shot, then film this shot, then film this shot. Film it all at once. Single camera. It makes it more dynamic than
Hey,
anything
listen,
else.
we've all been spoiled by the marvelous Mrs. Maisel, so
hey, what a girl.
There's another one. There's another. Oh, what show is it? Barry,
the
I
marvelous
think?
Mrs. Maisel, season
Two.
2.
Mu.
I think it's not Barry. What fucking shit? There's a great show and I can't think of it. But there's a scene of a whole year of this woman's life,
All in
single
one
shot
shot. She does
in
a
an
whole year,
apartment. Pretty much,
365 days
it's her going
on
from
camera.
an attic. It goes from her being an addict to being a contributing member of society, like clearing everything. And it's her. It's just from her apartment. Like it dies out and comes back and dies out and comes back, but it's all one shot and it's people moving shit all the time. And it's actually
It
Jim
would take
Carrey's
at
show as
least
a child.
a year to watch.
Funny,
That-
not funny people. Yeah. I know you're trying to make a
Yeah,
joke.
well,
I'm just telling you, there's great scenes. Jim Carrey HBO show. Somebody will know it in the chat. Find it for me.
Sounds like
But
the
there's a
Truman
great
Show.
one shot scene.
Truman
But
Show?
so much better than jump cut fucking bullshit.
You're
that
talking
this
about
scene
Ace
was.
Ventura.
Nope. I will find it. I mean,
And we still won't know it, but it's good. It's
You
worth
won't. You should.
it's worth
Great
getting
show.
the
Dumb and Dumber.
reference out there.
Okay,
So,
it's Dumb and Dumber.
are we ready to move along again?
The
To
Jojen
every episode, we take a Jojen
The
train.
tracks are laid. Final
Kidding.
seat is set.
What is it?
The show is called Kidding. Sorry.
Thank God.
Okay.
I thought you were just kidding that it was a show.
Just kidding.
Just kidding. Just kidding. So we're like Glenn pointed out, the tracks have been laid for the
Tracks have
Jojen train
been
to
laid.
roll
So
down
was
the
Rhaenyra.
field.
All aboard the Jojen train.
And every episode we have a final scene, and this happens to be the final scene. So hop aboard the Georgian train with us, and all aboard, motherfuckers.
Motherfucker.
Cheers, man.
Good stuff. Final scene. We have the betrothed are married in a melancholic empty hall. Alicent intervenes before Christian Cole harms himself in the Godswood.
After the fight, and it seems like everyone's kind of sent on their way home.
It's just right there.
Nice,
right?
nice time for a quiet ceremony.
Like
Nice time for a shotgun wedding.
Shotgun
Like, let's
wedding.
just get it done.
Like at first I was kind of like,
It's
okay,
a
cool, this is the wedding, and then I was like,
nice
wait,
night
this
for
is just
Drugs.
after all this shit happens, and we obviously get that answer, and I was like, oh my goodness, like
Let's just seal this deal.
we're just-
Let's just
Fuck it. Let's just
get
be
the
done.
Never
letters
mind.
in the mail.
that poor guy,
So-
like he is.
Because of the ballyhoo. No 7 days of tournament, no celebration. This
Well,
is
like, I
it.
feel the worst for Lanard. Literally,
Yes.
Absolutely.
Boyfriend's blood.
Yeah, they
is
could.
on
He
the
could barely like
floor.
talk. Like
Yeah, it's like, and I get it, and he even accepts it, and it sucks. And again, I didn't get any look from like his father, from Corliss or anything of, oh, you shouldn't be upset by this, because he gets it. He's not a cold-hearted, piece of shit. As much as he wants to be in denial of it, he's looking at his son like, yeah,
He's hurt.
it sucks.
Yeah.
Yeah, and yeah, I understand it sucks, and I wish there was more I could help you with, but you gotta do what you gotta do. And it was like that. He's not being a dick, but it's like, I'm just going based off of visuals and looks and everything like that. But you can see the compassion from his father and mother on it.
Yeah, I mean it's pretty clear cut, right? I mean, I think after the legitimate murder that just happened, let's just get through this. And like,
Yeah, fuck this. Like,
like I said, when we first got the wedding, I was actually kind of excited for like the festivities, right?
Right.
The crochet tournament. I was
So
here
was
for it.
Viserys. Like
He was so happy that
like,
like we
"Just give
finally
me
got here.
we're gonna do my daughter's wedding
Meat
right.
that can be drank.
well, just one like joyous occasion. I'm just trying to have one fucking
Yeah,
joyous
before I die.
occasion before I die. And here we are.
Comes the ballyhoo, the tomfoolery, the shenanigans.
It's can we talk about they even like after the show, people keep referring to this as a shotgun wedding.
Mhm.
I don't understand why, unless
They
people
didn't have shotguns.
no.
Crossbow wedding.
No. A shotgun wedding to me, and I could be wrong, is somebody who is pregnant
Gets knocked up.
and then you get married quickly.
I would say that's typically the reason because the father has his shotgun saying, "You're going to marry my daughter now."
Absolutely.
So I think the point is, King said, "We're just going to do this now."
I just wondered
I
if
think
it's
that's
like
the point.
I think it's
I
like
wonder
wedding on a whim.
It was
Like,
if
ordered
they
to be
keep
done
calling
right
it
now.
this like on like that off, like they're not intentionally doing it, like back of the mind, whatever, because she is pregnant with Kristen Cole's kid.
he
I
doesn't-
didn't know.
I don't
Like,
think he. I
I
don't
don't-
think
They wanted. Well, he,
I
I
think
he
he
knows
drank
let
the
it go a
tea.
week.
I mean, but who says
Yeah,
this
but
tea
he
was
was willing
strong?
to let it go a week anyway. Before this, so that's. I don't think that's really the concern. The concern now, it's still a shotgun wedding because it's okay. We're just gonna get this shit done, and you're gonna do it now.
I
So
get-
that's why it's the shotgun.
I get
wedding.
it, but I just don't. I don't feel like
But-
that is the proper term. Like,
Well, yeah,
I want to
crossbow wedding.
I want to shore up the alliance. I want to make sure this happens quickly. But I feel like shotgun weddings are very much reserved to a specific, like,
That's
and maybe
fair.
I'm wrong. Like, and that's
I
fine.
think you're just looking at the context that we always would see it at
Yes.
nowadays.
Yes.
But I think
Yeah.
the sentiment fits
It-
still, is all it
Quickly,
is.
we needed to have it done.
Like, we
Yeah.
just got to get this done.
Absolutely.
And
you
it's
just don't have
the
another
dad
term
who's
for it.
saying
lack,
it. Like,
lack of
this-
other term.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
Maybe.
it fits.
That's fine.
Whether or not it's the same definition that you're using, it's not the number one in the dictionary, but it's two
It
or
could be
three
an
on the
alternate.
list.
Then
It's
that's
number two.
fine.
on the
Like, I
list.
just didn't know if maybe they're trying to like
It fits
are
the
they
intent of the statement.
unconsciously being like, hey, we got to get her married up, because to me, and I get it.
yeah.
I was giving myself.
I don't think it's connotation on her being pregnant.
Okay.
At all.
Cool.
I don't take it that way
You
at all.
figure by this point, it's because sea travel and all that has already taken 2 weeks to a month and all
There
that.
was a
so,
lot of throwing up. You're right.
Yeah, there was a lot of time in
Whew.
between of going that. So
Rough.
I don't think that really played into too much on the pregnancy wise. But my note on this whole overarching scene was doesn't even have enough chill to fucking go through with it. Fucking pussy, Christian Cole. You know, he fucked up for everyone. Everyone involved in, everything apart from Allison. Allison can use it. Everything else, it's like, I don't care. I fucked it up. And I'm gonna do the honorable thing. I'm gonna kill myself. And then he waits. Why wait? And I'm not trying to
I
play
mean-
up the suicide thing at all, but it's just like you can't
He's
even
just,
fucking
he's
follow
thinking
through on
about this
that.
stuff, and then like Allison interrupts him, and
Yeah.
not saying that Allison had, and she's not guilty by any means, but like she decided not to blow the whistle, and this was what I was kind of saying earlier. Like she didn't blow the whistle, okay, and then Coleslaw spirals out of control, and he does like something terrible, and it's one of those like. When do you blow the whistle? Like, when is the right time to blow the whistle?
What did we say at 5 o'clock?
5 o'clock is the right time, I guess.
If you're in a factory.
I don't know. It was what was said
What do
earlier.
you work for? Andrew Carnegie?
But it's one of those
Second
things like
Carnegie
if you're
reference tonight. Different
employee in the
Carnegie, but-
workplace and you see something, do you say something? And it's just kind of one of those like gray areas. But like as another employee, like, okay, you should have said something because one, they could have done the exact same thing, or two, done something worse. And then I think Allison here feels the guilt of that. Just she didn't do anything about. She could have done something, as far as sending his,
So you
punishing
feel like
him, sending him to death.
she might have
But
some
she did
blood on her
nothing.
hands for. She might feel that she has blood on her hands for Loudmouth because
Of what he did.
because of the choices
The
she made
actions
around
he made
his
afterwards.
confession. Yes,
Okay.
Wherein, she could have really
and she's the only
done
one
something.
that could have done something.
And
right
Kristen
now.
Cole thought that she was going to, quote unquote, punish or, whatever. But she dismissed him. And then he goes off and does this. And now she stops him from doing that. And I wouldn't be, I wouldn't be surprised if she has some kind of guilt on her hands about.
I think it's fair. I mean, because she is the only person that had the context knowing where this would have come from right now. She's the only
now
one.
She also knows she has a weapon in her own.
Yeah, I mean, she knows that if she can play her cards right with him, that could be a pretty good ally moving forward.
Yeah.
That's.
And may I make a? Sorry, Luke. Go ahead. Finish your thought.
No, that's all I had. Go for it.
Sorry, I want to make an addendum and kind of thing of the suicide and all that. I don't want to be lighthearted about it and anything like that. And I do apologize. Thinking about it now, it's like it was kind of a dickish thing for me to say on it. I was more playing up the Cole's a bitch, kind of thing of he makes this choice and he still won't follow through on it, kind of thing. But still, I don't want to downplay the suicide or anything like that. It was just more contextual. But thinking about it now, after I said it, I was like, yeah,
Fair enough. Like it's
off brand for me. So I want to.
No, I think we understand the point you were. I think we in the room know the
I know,
context
no,
of what you're
yes,
getting at.
yes.
So I appreciate
Here
you
in the
saying
room,
that.
I understand you
For
guys
people
did
who
that,
might not have all of
not
the
know
full
my
context.
sense of mentality. It's,
For the
yeah,
character
so,
involved, I see the point you were going for.
Yeah.
So
and that's all. It was just plain.
But-
want to make that clear. So.
totally fair in my opinion.
Absolutely, all of us here have been touched personally by suicide. Like literally.
unfortunately.
Unfortunately.
It is very unfortunate.
So, like,
And there was a comment made, a lot of people think about their suicide if they do it, sometimes not necessarily in the moment. Sometimes.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yep.
I just want to talk about the logistics of a suicide. Like, one, ramming yourself through with a knife takes I'm pretty sure
That's like the classic
Japanese,
fall on your sword, samurai.
the Japanese, the sekapa.
To have that type of
Like Julius Caesar type
willpower and belief,
in this is the
This
right
is
thing
the
to
way,
do. This
and
is
to
the just thing for me to
go
do right
through
now.
with it.
The honorable thing.
I think not probably as Benji said, it takes so much strength and willpower that maybe Kristen Cole didn't possess. Maybe he did, but I just think the logistics of the difficult. It would be like trying to drown yourself. There is a part of you that
Will try to save yourself.
will save yourself. You're gonna stop.
Yeah, instinct of
Yes.
survival instinct.
Yes, absolutely. And I don't even know what's going on with Allison.
Yeah.
Cool.
I guess we'll probably see where that goes.
In about 3 days.
I know exactly where it's going.
I'm what is she gonna do with him?
I'm not getting into it, but the opening scene of the next episode has been shown. And
Well, don't talk about it. Don't talk about that.
I'm not. I'm not.
I haven't
I'm
seen
saying
it.
It's my only comment to it is well, fuck.
Well,
All I'll say is one of the main things, if you've read Fire and Blood, Kristen Cole gets a very, very unique nickname
ooh, okay.
in history, in the books.
Ooh.
It's like coleslaw.
It is
Steaming.
coleslaw the something. So we'll get to it. Again, this is one of those big, I don't want to say spoiler things
Cool
that
Papa Bell type
it's heading away. And it's going to make a lot of sense rather in the next
Quickly.
2 episodes
Yeah.
for sure.
And the king is down.
King passes out again. He collapses
That's what I said.
again.
I'm is he down or dead?
goes
He
or
doesn't,
not?
he doesn't
He
die
goes
because
down.
he doesn't die in no spoilers, but we see the previews from the next episode. He's definitely there, but he's really old,
Frail.
really
Things
frail.
things
Yeah.
aren't looking good for him
Okay,
still,
cool.
right? That was kind of the theme of
Was
his
that what you
episode.
guys got?
Yeah.
No, was he looking spry?
Yeah, no, he has a resurgence. I think he's gonna bring it back
kind of the
around.
question I want to bring up on the next episode, I'm gonna pin it, is we do see the coming up. He's there. How the fuck is he there? Is like the question. And there's a discussion I've heard, and I want to see what they play into next episode
Okay.
before really touching on that. So
We shall see when we can
yes.
see. So episode title accuracy. We light the way. Abby looks very skeptical and
Like
confused.
how? Was there some candles around? What?
Oh,
Do you not get the reference?
No,
It took me. Now I get it.
no, I don't get
Glenn,
it.
do you get the
Until,
reference?
like, this-
The Old Town.
Oh, like
it's
the fucking. That's
It's
so
Abby's
fucking
favorite part,
stupid.
the green dress. But
Oh, what wore dress?
It's the Hightower's words.
it
Yeah.
yes.
I'm being a bitch now. I'm
Like I
coming
didn't
into my
think about it
own.
until literally this moment.
I don't like.
I've had enough of your shit. I wore a dress and everything.
I don't know. I'm not a fan. Like this one little thing that happened in the episode, and that's what they're going with. Like, I mean, I guess they could have went with Loudmouth gets his face beat in, or something
Or like
that.
Viserys passes out like 3 times. Yeah.
This week's episode,
Coleslaw the Craven.
out 3 times.
I'll just leave it alone then, because I think
Too much
it's
drag.
It's good.
pretty phenomenal. I think it's pretty
Too
phenomenal.
Much dragon too much
I do,
smoking
but
dragon
I
causes
can't-
Smoker's cough or some shit.
I know.
Interesting. It's fine.
I know. All right, episode description accuracy. Daemon visits his wife in the Vale. It was a
It was a short visit.
flight by night away from here. It was a touch and go, I think. It was a brief stop, very brief stop, and
It was
know,
a flyby.
they didn't see eye to eye. They saw a horse to
They
ground.
didn't consummate the marriage.
They
The
did
sheep
not.
look better than than the other one did to each other.
Good looking
Good-looking
sheep.
sheep.
The
That
sheep
should
have
be
That
the
might
name.
that's on
Good-looking sheep.
that should be definitely on the list right now. Viserys and Rhaenyra broker agreements with the Velaryons. Sure. Yeah. I mean, we got basically a full agreement and a wedding. Like that's about as quick as we've ever
Sealed deal.
seen a deal being sealed. Alicent seeks the truth about the princess. Sure, she gets kind of told by OVH early, like, hey, you made a choice and it's kind of fucking me over, and it's not good for you in the long run or your kids either. And then she gets a club sandwich to the face and she deals with that.
Right.
And then she talks to some coleslaw and realizes that things might be worse than she thought.
Right.
Man, I never thought I could talk to my food, but I mean, now I'm gonna try.
Club sandwich and coleslaw. You're gonna have it for lunch tomorrow, probably.
No, but
Yeah,
I
too
mean,
much
no.
mayo and
maybe.
coleslaw.
Okay. All right. So it's that time in our episode where we get to decide on the episode, our Drinks and Those Things episode show title. So put your votes in the chat for us, please. Best
Viserys Day Off. So I'm seeing that one.
Viserys Day Off. Best looking sheep in the realm. What else do
The
we
Strong
have?
Boys.
Strong Boys. I know Abby doesn't want a green dress reference, so I'll stray
can-
away from that. Oh, not even gonna touch that one.
Don't
I'm
do that.
scrolling like way up in chat just to see if something
Ready?
else sticks out to me.
Here's my suggestion. What did we just say earlier? We just did it. Or what? Warm coleslaw.
Microwave
Yeah,
coleslaw.
microwave coleslaw. And then I had one other one that was it though.
So from Phil H, from way back up, wasn't me.
Wasn't me. The anti-Shaggy.
Anti-shag.
Coleslaw the Confessor.
Coleslaw the Confessor was me. You know,
It was me.
It was me.
it was me.
So any votes here in the room?
I don't care.
Abby gives a don't care vote. She's the do nothing
I
option.
like
on the table for Abby
microwaved
right now.
coleslaw. I like microwaved coleslaw.
Glenn, any thoughts?
Ooh, that's a good one. Coleslaw makes some hamburger from Kenzie.
Mincemeat.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really have anything.
All right. Well, it's gonna be one of those.
Yep.
So, Abby, can you tell us about another one of the Drawbridge Media podcasts?
Oh, you
We
can
did skip a
listen
section there,
to.
Did we?
What?
No, we didn't.
We didn't listen to that.
We did.
We'll come back to it. We'll do that next.
That's fine.
We get next. The way the box is set up kind of messed me up, but we're good.
But give me the name of the one I'm talking about, because I know the one I want to talk about.
Which one?
It's one where they walk around and it's like, little hobbits and
Oh, the podcast that wanders and is
there we go.
lost?
See, look, they walk around. Told you. The podcast that wanders and lost goes over the new show that is called
The podcast that wanders and is
No,
lost.
the show is called
Rings of Power.
Rings of Power. Thank you, because I am not good on the upkick. So
Sorry, the delay in the chat. We're finally getting some of the things. I was distracted.
No, okay. So we have this new podcast. They are going episode by episode, reviewing the Rings of Power. It is Luke, my sister Melissa, my brother Riley, and the one and only Bailey in the house. It's an awesome show. You should check it out. If you like hobbits and bobbits and grumpkins and
Say hardfoots instead of hobbits.
hardfoots.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now you know it. Like it seems like you've listened or watched the show at all now.
I tried, but I was on a plane and it was bad.
If you're a Game of Thrones fan, so that scene with the Tower of Joy, that same actor is in the Rings of Power
As
as
a named elf.
Elrond.
You might know half elf, Elrond half elf, and
So
also a Benjen Stark sighting.
Benjen Stark, yeah, a little
Really?
crossover.
Oh yeah.
Ooh.
I'm not exactly sure what he is yet. We'll see. Big question mark.
He's
on
like
him.
he's like the leader of the orcs, right?
Right. Further context: we don't know what he is or where he's going.
Yeah, it just
But yeah, cool. It's been fun. We've had fun talking about it. It's been a
Wait a second. Hang
decent
on.
enough show.
Wait a second.
Hang on.
I missed the. Who's he in that? Just
Adar.
what?
Yeah, that's Benjen Stark.
No shit.
Cold
okay,
hands?
fair
Yes,
enough.
shit.
I did not catch that.
Cold hands.
You know how
and then
much
we
I
said,
watch
Oh,
the other podcast there.
we said
so,
Ned Stark
Is
from
Elrond.
Tower of Joy is Elrond.
No, I did know that one. Yeah, I knew that one from episode 1 and everything, but I did not catch that Adar was Benjen. Okay, fair enough.
So you can catch our next episode of that on Sunday night. Well, we'll be talking about the most recent episode that comes out later tonight. As we
catch
speak.
our most
I
intelligent
do have one
siblings
other
speaking
shout
about
out,
it.
if I
Sure,
may.
go for it, Bench. Yeah.
Another call out. If you are in the St. Louis area
Oh.
this weekend,
If somehow you make
you
it this
should
way.
come.
Yes.
You should come to yesterday's bar on Woodson Road in Woodson Terrace.
Even if you're not coming to
And
St.
you
Louis, it's the closest bar to the airport that's
Where's
worth
the
going to.
MPT?
It is, and it also we may have a live stream on Facebook. So look it up on Facebook. Campfire Nights.
Yeah.
We may be able to live
and
stream
then
the show.
what time you
itself.
guys go on?
7 to 11.
7 p.m.
7
p.m. Central. The
You're
one
playing
true
at
time
7.
zone.
They're playing at
There is a
7.
7-Eleven close, but we're not playing there. Another time we might.
Don't be-
Don't
Like
be
two-
confused. They're not playing at 7-Eleven, but they're playing from 7 p.m. to 11 p.m.
If you go to the 7-Eleven in Woodson Terrace, though, just look left and you'll see us.
What if we live streamed
Exactly.
it on Drawbridge Media?
We could do that. That
We
would be
could
easy
do that.
enough.
We could do that.
That would be actually easy enough.
I mean,
We
it's
could run that
literally
right through the
no
computer.
effort.
Yeah.
It's
We could run that audio right.
so
through
if you
the-
want to
anyway,
find about
it-
Campfire Nights, come to St. Louis or stay tuned on Drawbridge
Stay
Media
put.
potentially.
or Drawbridge
as a
Media or
good chance
Campfire
that's gonna
Nights
happen.
Facebook page.
Yes,
And if
know.
you go to the 7-Eleven, they do not sell alcohol. So
they don't, and they don't even sell gas anymore either.
But you
So-
can go
They
to
got
or
hit.
not ABC,
It got
what's
hit.
the-
Slurpees.
What's the right
Mi-
next to
Midwest
yesterday's?
Petroleum. Oh no,
the
what are you talking about? Oh, A1 Liquor. Don't go there.
Hey, they're fine.
No,
Uncle Matthew. I always call him that. He'd say
you know
no.
that one guy. What was
No.
that guy's name? Jay.
Anyway, but I just wanted to give that shout out because you know what? We want
the
some
high
viewers.
five. Go to high five. Just
Come
for
for the band and stay for the Slurpees. Yep.
Mike's the best.
Perfect.
Mike's
funny.
good.
All
This,
right.
this guy knows.
All right, so the section that Benji told me that I skipped, but I was just
Oh
trying to
my
get the
God.
Campfire Nights reference in there. Favorite and or least favorite thing. Benji, I'll start with you.
So I'm new. Anything written down, and the acceptance of Lenore and Rhaenyra of their options, like that scene, it was super cute. It was like just the two cousins, and you figure they grew up together. They were cousins, like, and she's like, "I like duck, you like goose. You know, we can make this work." And his acceptance of it, and as I was saying, like the voice and the tone she was using, it was more of a just, "Hey, we got this shit. We can have our fun. We can do what we need. We'll do our duty. You know, we'll do what we need to, but we're just gonna get this shit done." And it was just a good scene of young people, like young teenagers, 20-something-year-olds being like, hey, yeah, let's work this shit out. And they were both on board. So it was to me, it was the best scene of the show.
Yeah, I just want to agree with you on I like they're kind of saying like, hey, we get to decide where this goes from here. It was a power move, and they're
Absolutely.
both leading into it, and I'm here for that too.
Yeah.
Abby, favorite or least favorite
So
thing?
I think I might surprise some folks, but my least favorite
Green dress.
thing, right? That is where it's gonna be surprised.
Oh.
It's not that. My least favorite thing is how unchecked Damon is consistently. Like, I really feel like he is such a dangerous
The
player,
Daemongerous.
a dangerous player.
He's a Damon.
And he's scary, and Rhaenyra may love him, but she is blinded, and he's, even if they get together, which I'm
Blinded by
pretty
the
sure they
light.
do at some point, and that's
Wrapped
fine.
up like a douche.
Like, I think he's going to end up fucking her over too. Like, he is super dangerous. He is not, he's just so unstable. I don't like him. So I don't know if that's my favorite or least favorite. I'm playing it up, but that's
Sure.
my final.
My
on that.
my favorite thing is the green dress scene. It really really is.
I'm sorry I dogged on
No,
it
that's
so
okay.
much.
It's fine. It's totally fine. This is a very big statement that's being made, and whether it worked for you or not, that's
Yeah.
fine. I have been waiting for this moment,
Right.
kind of thing, and I'm sure I'm not alone in the chat.
Everybody's Irish on St. Patty's Day.
Oh yeah, thanks, Boris. I just think this is one of those when everyone realized what time period we were talking about in this
Waiting for
history.
this.
This is one of those pinpoint moments,
Right.
absolutely. And I thought they did a good job with it. For me, I thought they did a good job with it.
Water.
One,
They did a good job for
I was
it.
going to say a
for
watershed
you.
moment, Luke.
it is a watershed moment. This is a high tower point in the history of this series, and it kind of is going to become a big deal. So I enjoyed the way they did it. I thought not saying too much, but saying just enough to make it obvious to
Big
people.
Green dill.
It's a big green deal, and I'll leave it at that. So, Glendog, favorite or least favorite thing?
My favorite and or least favorite thing, I would probably say my least favorite thing is, I guess, that first kind of scene wherever like Damon just
Offs his wife.
offs his wife. Yeah, absolutely. Like we don't get anything from. I enjoyed like the little like somewhere outside of like the kingdom or whatever, like the Vale. That was so awesome. And then like is kill and like it's just the piece of shitness of Damon where I'm just gonna kill you.
Yeah. No,
Like,
I get it.
Absolutely.
Right.
Yeah.
I would have loved to have more of her. Like I would have liked to have seen her and
more of her, and like it wasn't her fault that she probably got married to him because somebody told her she had to get married to him.
Right.
She
She's
was
married
like
off to
off
him.
to
It's
the
not
Prince
her
of
fault.
Dragonstone.
And now she's
Yeah.
getting punished. She's getting killed off because he doesn't want to be married to her anymore.
Because he's a cunt.
Because he's a cunt.
Yeah.
It's just it sucks.
Agreed.
All right.
Yeah.
Abby, house name.
I am Gertie of House on Ascension.
Words.
We don't quit.
Sigil.
It's a field of white with a raven sitting upon a black, uppointed chevron.
Final thoughts on this episode?
It was a good episode. I'm highly annoyed with fucking everybody, but
And
good.
that's why you like it.
Yeah. Like that's what it like. That's
I'm here for
silly
the
thing.
pain.
Like I'm like, God damn it! Just make some better choices. Doesn't have to be this hard.
Glenn.
My name is Glenn of House Dog.
House words.
You miss 99% of the shots you don't take. Or
House-
90% of the shots you don't take.
Sometimes it's both.
Yeah.
House sigil.
It is a doggo with a Wayne Gretzky jersey, number 99. Probably LA Kings.
Yeah. If you had the juice, it would be.
It could be a Blues jersey, 99.
Could
but
be. Could be with a
most
C
likely-
on it.
Most likely
Final
LA
thoughts.
Kings. This is your run-of-the-mill episode where, you have a wedding and stuff like that, and, somebody kills somebody at said wedding. We've seen this so many times.
Kind of actually we have
you know,
kind of seen some of
This,
these.
this
things.
is like the green wedding, and there was a red wedding, purple, like all these different.
He just kind of put a color to it.
Pick a color and then say wedding after it, and here you go. That's if somebody gets married, that's what it is.
Infamous, instantly.
Sure.
I am Lucan of House Blackmead. House words. Ours is the drink. Chalice, obsidian black on a gold and blue checky background is our sigil. Final thoughts. Knowing where we're going, I'm very excited. Like this, like I said last episode, it really felt like we were in that middle of the season jumping off point. This is one of those incredibly important moments that happens, and there's going to be several more followed up rather quickly.
Sure.
And I think we can all kind of tell where some of these things are going, and I'm excited to see how they get there. And yeah, also looking at the next on, I'm going to be sad to see Emily and Millie Alcock gone.
Along with
Oh, did I just take yours, Benj? Hey, Benj.
It's fine.
Aw.
You're good.
No, did you?
along with
No, but really,
Lady,
I thought,
Lady Royce and
Yeah.
Loudmouth,
Yeah.
right?
but we've spent half a season with these two actors. I thought they did wonderful jobs and really complex things. I'm excited to see where the next actresses take it, but yeah, I thought they did a good job with really interesting storytelling, and maybe it fell flat a couple times.
Yeah.
Maybe I think it worked on average for me. So I'm excited to see where it
Hopefully
goes.
I'm not
but-
jumping the gun or anything, but I think they said like Millie
Alcock.
Alcock, the girl that plays Rhaenyra, like before this, she had like pretty much like no
Some broad,
job.
don't worry about it.
She had like no job or whatever. She like worked
Yeah.
like just was
A few
living
commercials
in her
and-
like mom's attic or something like that. and,
Gotcha.
like, did like odd jobs and shit like
I
that.
mean, they were like no
Let's go get
sea
something from
snakes, is all I'm saying.
Bench,
All right, I'm Sly House McLean.
house words.
It's dangerous to have a drink. Call the wild.
House sigil.
3 black triangles on a red balloon.
And your final thoughts on this
So
episode.
final thought was I was gonna say shout out to Millie Alcock and Emily Millie
Clark?
and Emily
Clark?
Thank you. That's why I was typing. I was like looking up the actress's last name.
Or is it
Emily-
Claire?
what?
Or is it
Emilia
Claire?
Clark.
Claire, Carrie, Emily
Carrie. Damn it. Yeah, I was like,
had
as
it,
soon
and
as I was like,
right
no,
there.
that's
No,
Yep.
Emily, Carrie, and Millie Alcock. Shout out to them. As much as I give Carrie grief about the facial expressions that she does, she did do an excellent job as a young Alison Hightower. I'm gonna miss these two. I do like Olivia Cook. I appreciated her in Ready Player One. The other one, Emma. I don't know Emma D'Arcy. I think I don't know anything she's been in. I'm hoping, and scenes I've seen her acting in, I'm enjoy like the previews and stuff. So I'm looking forward to seeing those two. But for the first half of the season, I think the Uncast has done an excellent job. Yes, the show has been stolen by Patty and Matt Smith. That's who they're supposed to. Those are the
Who
two
is that?
main actors, and even Reese.
Viserys and
Patty,
Damon.
Patty is Viserys. Matt Smith is
Is
Damon.
Damon.
Okay,
Damon.
gotcha. Okay.
Yeah,
Reese
and even
Elfins
Reese,
I knew who
who's
Matt
Otto von
Smith was.
Hightower.
Out of Von Hunter.
OVH.
Yeah.
Who? What's his name?
OVH,
Reese.
Reese
Reese
something.
Ifans.
Okay.
Ifans, yeah. All three of them have done excellent jobs, but they're the experienced actors in it, and they've driven the series. This episode, it was fine. It was good. I enjoyed it. The wig on Lenore was fucking garbage. But besides that, the costumes look good. The acting was very well done. So, I mean, it's nothing in this show has been like, oh, I don't want to watch the next episode. I'm like, okay, I'm done with it, or I'm bored. I've been excited for Sunday nights every week. Every week I'm like, okay, yeah, let's, I want to watch this. And this episode includes into that realm. It keeps me interested. I like the time jumps. I like the jumps ahead and everything because it doesn't feel stale. So I'm looking forward to the rest of the season, and I just really do hope, Millie and Emily get some acting career or some.
They
good
probably
bounce off of
will.
this. I'm sure they will, but they deserve
That's
it
what-
because they are good actresses, and I want to see them do well.
So I remember like watching Game of Thrones through, and then like going on Netflix and I want to watch these other like. I'm just looking for some kind of fucking movie, and I mean, people can attest that I'm really bad at picking movies.
Just ask about the fucking oil field movie. Guess what
But
happens? Nothing. Sorry.
but anyways, like you get a lot of the movies like on Netflix that I would like look. It'd be like they'd be advertising. Oh, we got Mance Raider in the show, like in our
Yes.
or whoever, like whatever character,
Game of
but it'd be like
Thrones.
we have Mance Raider
And a hot pie.
and Hot Pie in our show or whatever, like, and that'd be like the first
That's like the
thing.
only thing they
But
talk
it's about like blah,
But
blah,
here's
blah.
what the story is.
Hey,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I watched
No,
the
and
Time
I
Traveler's
think
Wife
both of
only
the actresses
because-
will be able to eventually become named actresses. Like you say, I'm gonna watch Millie Alcox is the new Marvel this, or I can see them being named actresses. Even Emily, as well as much as much as I give a shit.
Yeah, they'll get
I
other
enjoy-
jobs, and I think like
They'll get other jobs.
What
I think they
happens,
may
I
find
thought-
stuff bigger than this.
especially some of these like lower production things are just we need something to get people like
yeah.
something to attach to try to get people to come in and watch our fucking stupid ass movie.
Exactly.
That's what they're gonna say.
They'll get plenty of those, but I think both of them deserve even better films.
So you can learn more about our Patreon reward tiers at patreon.com/stayimaginary. I think that's going to be back up here in a couple days.
Sure.
You can learn more about the things that we do or don't say on Twitter or Instagram at No and a Drink. You can send us a digital raven to noandadrink@gmail.com. Please subscribe, like, rate, and leave comments here on YouTube at Drawbridge Media, or again, you can find us on iTunes now under searching for the author channel of Drawbridge Media, where you can find all of our shows kind of linked together, which is neat, or on any podcatcher that you use on your personal listening device. We truly appreciate that you guys could be here. Thank you all very much. And until next time.
As always, I still don't know, so I'll just drink.
And as always, don't turn your back on the wolf pack.
As always, Allison didn't come, but I did.
And as always, stay imaginary. Okay, bye.
Stay imagery.